With Mindfulpig. Um, hey there, hi there, ho there, everybody, and a special hey there to Maria. Um, Marie, wow, I did it again. Sorry, this time I corrected myself. Anyway, this is the Two Tired Dudes podcast. On this episode, we're going to be discussing all the gaming accessories. I decided not to just branch into one. I had a good conversation with JW Pizza last time, and we're kind of laughing at some of the gimmicks and stuff that Xbox did, PlayStation did, Nintendo did, etc., etc. Yeah, I figured it'd be kind of fun to just jump in and talk about all the random accessories that we got to play with as kids. Just noticed I screwed up by not having Discord unmuted. At least Twitch was unmuted. There we go. Everyone comes on Discord, they can hear me. But yeah, how are you? How was your day though, Marie? How's your week been going? I see you like the Juggernaut's little gifts. You funny dude, eh? It's so funny. I think it was last time we were talking on the podcast. I'm pretty sure it was last week. But anyway, it was like the day after the podcast, he's messaged me. He's like, hey, I hear you was talking about me. I was like, oh my god, like nothing bad, obviously. Only good stuff, Juggernaut. He's such a funny dude. Yeah, I know. I was like, it was all good. It was all good fun, my friend. When you said can't complain, I literally thought that like old person joke, because like I hear this all the time from like older guys and girls. Like I'm talking like people in their 70s, 80s, right? And be like, how's it going? It's like, I can't complain because who's going to listen anyway? And it's like, yeah, it's really true, actually. The topic was his bad haircut. No wonder he thought I was shit talking him, because he brought up haircut. I was like, damn, did Sleepy and Marie both talk to him? Because I was talking to Sleepy, I think, on the podcast, and I was saying how his haircut looked good, and then with you, right, I was talking about what was it, his YouTube video he did, right? How it was like decent. I noticed that too. Like, I think I say something, the Juggernaut goes, you didn't like it. I was like, no, like, just sometimes I just run out of words and I just pick whatever rolls off the tongue and doesn't actually mean anything negative. I feel ya. Thank God I'm not that old yet. My body feels that old, but I'm still kicking. If you had any though that you wanted to shout out for this week, because I know you're pretty awesome and you usually respond on Twitter or you'll respond on the Discord. But I'm not sure if you had any of those like weird accessories growing up, or even currently if there's been any like weird video game accessories they've added. I found some bangers from back in the day, like with the regular Nintendo. I'm sure quite a few of them people remember. Some people might be surprised about, but yeah, I'll wait for the rest of the individuals to hop on before I shoot the shit about that. Let's see. I'm just trying to remember. I'm sorry. Also, like I have like 3 podcasts behind now in editing. Just basically because I went to go see my mom. We had my cousin's birthday. I had the other podcast on Thursday with Jimmy and Juggernaut, which was super funny. Super funny. Okay, so this one I will pick on the Juggernaut for. I love that he came on the Dark Souls podcast not playing the first Dark Souls. And at the very beginning, I was like, okay, we're going to talk about Dark Souls 1 and we're just going to focus on that. And that conversation derailed so hard. We talked about, I was still trying to focus on the original one, but he bounced around between Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Demon Souls, and I was like, Jesus Christ, my guy. Only the Juggernaut. I know, right? Actually, okay, I don't know if you were on or not, but Jimmy came up with a really good idea. Like me and him were brainstorming together with the Juggernaut on my YouTube stream, and we told him that he should have a redemption on his channel that allows him to replay that game again one more time. So it's like another chance to go at that battle axe. Um, okay, you love the Game Boy Color's third party junk. Oh my god, yes, yes, yes. You say Game Boy Color, so that makes me feel super old because what's that? Oh, it's a very nice badge. Should I got a new badge at her job now? You look like a little model in this photo. Holy U.S. government. Okay, thanks for derailing. I'm gonna call you the Juggernaut. um, yeah, you really derailed me there, Shine. Oh yeah, okay, Game Boy Color. So yeah, I had the old chunky Game Boy, and I had the same stuff for that. Like you could add the magnifier on there, and the magnifier came with like a glass. I even had a glass, I mean a light. Sorry. I even had like the speakers that you could attach to it as well. So if you want that surround sound, like that thing got fucking heavy when it had everything attached to it. It was just ridiculous. So I'm so happy that you actually had the same thing, like the magnifier and the lights. That's totally awesome. I do remember the battery pack though. I don't think I got that one, which probably would have saved my mom a lot of money. I'm surprised she never got me the battery pack. I don't know how well it actually works, but and I remember like with the old chunky Game Boy too. How it have that like little light indicator, right? So the minute it turned red, it came to the point that like I knew how long the battery would last. I'm like, okay, it's red. I got like whatever it is, 33 minutes. Like I timed it down right to the last minute. Oh, I think the game that got me into that too is Pokemon Blue. Like I got so addicted to that freaking game. It was ridiculous. Ah, that's crazy. Like just crazy. I always think back to that, like just how big Pokemon was. And like it's just insane to think, like oh my god. Like that fucking series just blew up. Especially the game. The game really blew up. Um I know, right? I think Pokemon, wow. I think Game Boy Color only had two, if I remember, two AA batteries it needed. With the old Fat Boy, right, it needed four batteries. Like you pretty much used a whole pack of batteries every time you were playing your Game Boy. Like four batteries. Like that's ridiculous. I mean, no worse than the Sega Game Gear. I think that one was either 6 or 8 batteries it took, and it lasted less time than the freaking Game Boy did. But to be fair, it did have a little bit better graphics, and it did have color before Game Boy itself had color. So I get it. Technology was rough back then. It probably took a lot to power that bad boy. And actually, one of the accessories here I'll just give away now. I can't remember the exact name. I'll have to look it up afterwards. But you could actually add an antenna to your Game Gear, and you could watch TV on your Game Gear. And like, I don't mean like a little antenna. No, like this bitch really stuck out. Like, oh, I love the 80s. 80s and 90s. What a time to be alive. Like, we just had the largest technology in the world. I I nabbed it. Here's your squirter blanket. She has a Pokemon Squirtle, but it says something else on the blanket. Oh my gosh, do you remember? Yes, I totally do remember the Game Boy printer and the Game Boy camera. That thing was hilarious. Like, I don't know, like when I looked it up online, just like, like for some facts and just to remind myself, it said that it wasn't very popular, but like I remember that thing actually being pretty popular. Like people were pretty pumped over the Game Boy camera. It even had, oh, I'm gonna screw it up now, but I know it did have a weird, like, it's not a creepy pasta, you know what I mean? But it had like a weird, like little creepy story to it. There was something you could do with the Game Boy camera, and I think like an image would pop up and it would say like "I see you." It was something you had to do anyway, and then yeah, that little image would pop up. I know. I really wonder. Like, I can't remember anymore at this point, but I wonder how much it cost when it came out. Like, I wonder if it was like stupid expensive or not. I really can't remember the actual price for it. I remember, yeah, I think in my school too, there was only a select few people that actually had one. But it was so cool. It was so cool to watch because, like, like people don't get it, right? Like now it was like, well, we have cell phones. Like, what? No, no, like there wasn't that technology then. Like this was how you took selfies. Unless you're like one of those cool guys, they had the what do they call it again, Cheyenne? The ones that take instant photos. Polaroids. Thank you. Oh, tonight's episode is brought to you by Slurpee. Oh my god, I know. I would love 7-Eleven for life. Even Max. Whoever wants to take me. I know, right? Oh my god, I had one of those. Okay, my mom had like, okay, so you know how there was like you said, the Nokia brick. There was the one before that, like the big fat, like either gray or black one, right? It almost looked like a walkie-talkie. You'd pull down the flap, and yeah, that would be like your voice indicator, I guess, or whatever were you talking to. Um, I remember my mom got that one. Yes, 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 with the antenna. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, good. You know what I mean? My mom got those. Those first came out, right? And she thought she was just the shit. Like she was like, "This is such a good investment." If you're on the road, like that's what they were so focused on. If you're on the road and you're stranded, this is gonna save your life. Like what a time to be alive. That was our biggest worry we had. Like, what happens when I'm on the road and I can't call for help? Oh, it's crazy to think about. But yeah, I know those things cause cancer too. Like they were just, I mean, I know they all like in a way they do, right? But those things actually had like real problems with. Oh, it's so funny. I remember I used to pull it out all the time. Like later on when my friends got like normal cell phones, I used to like my mom kept it in the closet, the old one, just to have, right? I just pull it out every once in a while and show my friends. I'm like, hey, want to make a phone call? Oh my god. Like hands down. This is like one of my favorite subjects to talk about. Like I love reminiscing about like just old shit that we used to use back in the day. And like I know it's such an old man thing to say, but like it's just I don't know, it's so much fun. And it's like it's cool too, like just hearing other people's experiences, like they might not like you just said, like I might not have had a Game Boy printer, maybe you did, right? Or vice versa. And yeah, just I don't know. It's really I always enjoy those. It makes me happy to reminisce. Um, but yeah, I'm just trying to think here. So minus being delayed on the podcast. My cousin's birthday was really fun though. Played a lot of what do you call it? Not lawn darts, but it was with the axe. It's like the throwing axe game, but we didn't actually use real axes, and it wasn't a real board, obviously. He had these cool foam axes, and it was almost like plastic spikes were sticking up. So when you threw it right, the axe would go in there. Um, I'm not the best at that one. That was damn sure. There were like it's hard. Okay, how do I say this? Like it seems really easy to throw it, but there were so many things to like evaluate. So for example, the wind got really strong, right? It would take your axe like flying to the opposite direction. So like the video game person in me was like, okay, if I can't, if I can't throw it straight, I'm gonna use the wind to my advantage. And I figured out after a while how far to throw it away from the target so that the wind would push it, into the middle or into the point barrier. It got like really technical. It was so funny. We all got into it pretty hard. We also got to play. I don't know what it's called. Basically, I know it's gonna sound very perverted, but there was two balls on a string, and they were like kind of heavyweight the balls. And then anyway, there was a 3-tier rack that would be there, and it'd be like blue, yellow, red, and each one of them meant different points. And the objective was you would whip the ball with strings onto the rack, and whatever color it lands on, that's how many points you get. But it sounds easy, right? But sometimes they didn't wrap around quick enough, or sometimes it would fall off, or you could knock off somebody's. So you really had to not only like get it on there, but you wanted it to like wrap around as much as possible so that no one could knock that off. That game was a lot of fun. Sorry, would you say so? Definitely. I can't imagine trying to explain to my very own child. It's my uphill both ways. Back in the day, phones weighed 5 pounds and made your ears burn. I know, right? It's crazy. Or okay, I don't know if you got into this trend, but okay, my mom, she's not a geek, right? But she is a geek. And what I mean is like anything new that came up for technology, she took it as she had to own it, right? But like she's not like, like no Star Wars or anything like that, right? But when it came to technology, she couldn't build a computer, but damn well she will know what's coming out and she'll want to buy it right away. So I'm saying this because when PDTs came out, um, she was just like so into that. It was like a must have item, and I was like, I even laughed at my mom. I was like, Mom, like, what do you have to schedule? Like, why do you need this thing so bad? She's like, well, I could plan my life out. I can make sure everything's done on time. And she got so into it, she used it like almost every single day. To the point where she bought me one because she thought I would need it. It would help me in school. It didn't. I just downloaded games on it, obviously. But yeah, like, I totally remember going to like Future Shop or Best Buy and yeah, like just checking out the selection they had. It's kind of sad that like phones eliminated that kind of stuff though. Like it was kind of neat just having all these random gadgets. And then like you had those people with the belts too, right? So you had like your phone on your belt, you had your PDT on your belt, you had your pager on your belt. Like, oh, we were such dorks. I love it. I just love it. Probably on the other side of you, you had your what do you call them? Swiss Army knife, the jack of all trades. Quick little small hand screwdriver set, just in case something breaks down. Oh my god, pagers too, eh? What a ridiculous thing to have. God damn. Okay, I'm just reminiscing hard here. Um, I know there's like one game I want to talk about for sure that happened yesterday, and I just want to, even though everyone's already kind of voiced their emergencies, everyone's already voiced their opinion yesterday on the stream. I have to say this level one more time, um, but I don't think I really played anything else other than like Genshin. I mean, on Friday, I tried my best to play Agents of Mayhem, but that did not work out so well. I lasted a good hour. The game was fine. It was just mindful. Mindful was not in the state to play a video game apparently. Um, I think it was like an hour into it. I was like, okay, I'm starting to feel it. And then by 2 hours, I was like, okay, I gotta stop. I can't play this no more. I felt bad. And I had this really like interesting viewer too that came on. And like he was having like the most serious conversation with me, and my mind was just not ready for that serious conversation. Like I have to rewatch it because like I felt at the time that I was suave and answering these questions just perfectly. But I'm sure if I go back, it's not gonna be how I pictured it in my head at all. And then he just kept asking me questions like about money and what would you do if you had like $1 million or you won the lottery. And he was telling me his answers too. Like really nice guy. Like you know what I mean. Like he had some really good questions. It's just that was not the time for Mindful to be answering those questions. um, yeah, I think that was it. I think it was just Agents of Mayhem. In all honesty, I played a lot. I played Skyrim still on Wednesday. Skyrim still Skyrim. We finally. That was the one where I was talking to Jimmy and the Juggernaut on. We started the dragons finally. So if you played Skyrim before, you have to do that one quest, and then that kind of pretty much activates all the dragons in the land. And yeah, then you could just from there on you can do whatever the hell you want, really, because the main quest has already started and the chaos is unfolding. Um, and by that, actually, okay, yeah. So I took down the dragon, right, the first one. And then what happened was just a bunch of bullshit. Because after that, I tried to take on a mammoth and a giant, and the giant killed me. And then I managed to kill that mammoth by cheating because there was like this weird rock formation, and for whatever reason, the mammoth couldn't climb up the rocks, but he also didn't run away. So I just basically stood on the rocks. He couldn't hit me, and I just kept firing one arrow after another. Which again, if you're gonna play Skyrim, always go for the bow and arrow. Like it's just the most ridiculously overpowered thing. I can't understand how this game is like whatever it is, 13 years old, 10 years old at this point, whatever the number is, and they still haven't like done anything to the bow and arrow. Like it's seriously just so overpowered. It doesn't even make sense to use any other weapon in the game. Um, but I digress. After that one, I was trying to go to this camp, and I ended up going into this like dragon graveyard. I was like, oh, okay, I know these things. Like, I'm just gonna kill the dragon, and that's it. But I forgot that after you kill the dragon, there's still like the dragon priest that comes out, and he fucking whooped my ass. Like, holy crap. I took on the dragon. I did pretty damn good. Like, I used up all my health potions, but I killed him, right? And this motherfucker, Jesus, it was like 2 shots and my character be dead. I was like basically just running around. I wasn't even able to like get a hit on him because he's just so overpowered. And then I think on top of that, he had the ability to summon um, basically like frost golems. They have a special name in Skyrim, but if you ever seen RPGs, right? It's just a big giant golem made of frost. And yeah, that motherfucker took me down too, like so many times. He chased me actually. Like I remember running away, and he was chasing me like for a really long time. I was like, dude, you're a summon. You should be disappearing at this point. And then I think to top it all off, right? So after somewhat accomplishing a pathway, and I killed the mammoth. I still remember I saved after that. I killed that dragon, right? Um, and then yeah, I ran away from the Dragon Lord, or whatever you call them, the skeleton dudes that appear. Um, I ended up trying to go to this village that was just below me. Like the cliff didn't even seem that high up. Okay, and this is the part that pissed me off of Skyrim is like, its fall mechanic has like no happy medium whatsoever. Like you could literally like jump off like a 2 foot hill and it could kill you. You could jump off a 10 foot hill and you might just take a little bit of damage. Like there's no happy medium. It drives me nuts. I hate the game for that. Again, another thing. Why don't you fix that already? Um, but yeah, so anyway, I jumped off this hill and I ended up dying. And then I was like, okay, where did I save last? And I thought I did save at the mammoth part. I thought I did save at the dragon part. Apparently I didn't. And it put me all the way back to when I killed the first dragon. I was like, wow, I literally played 2 hours for nothing. Like, only the first like 40 minutes was saved. And then I was like, okay, well, I guess this is the end of the Skyrim stream right now because I'm really pissed. So that part, yeah, that part sucked. um, oh lordy, what did we play last Monday? Oh, I would have talked about it Tuesday anyway, so that doesn't matter. Um, yeah. So anyway, this Monday, the game that I did want to focus on is Genshin. So we played Genshin Impact. Shout out to Zichik and Celerio though. Um, one for being just amazing human beings for walking me through the game and helping me get a lot of treasure chests unlocked and stuff like that. The second is huge patience and huge understanding. I don't know what it is with Genshin. If it's I'm not gonna blame Genshin. I'm gonna blame my own eyeballs. I can't make out that mini map, and like I think Zicha caught on because she picked a fire character later on that had arrows. So the minute I lost her, she would just fire arrows, and I'd be like, okay, there you are, or she would fire arrows to where she wanted me to go. She had a pretty good pattern down with me, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, that mini map just throws me off. Like I do see player two, but like I don't know, at some points it's really hard to make out. And then on top of that, she was trying to tell me, she's like, yeah, wherever you see stars, that's where this collectible is where you have to grab. And I could never make out the stars. She saw them no problem, but I was like, I can't see the sea chick. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just old as shit, I guess. Yeah. So anyway, um, we ended up like just cruising through the first part. I think the first probably 40 minutes we just like powered through, and then I was like, okay, let's go to my quest menu. Let's finish up a few quests. We went to this ice level, which I believe is called like Dragon Spear. Fuck that goddamn level. That is pure bullshit. That is worse than Dark Souls in Blighttown. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And the reason why is because not only is every freaking enemy just ridiculously overpowered, like it was nothing for Zichik and Celerio, because they were obviously like way above me. But for my level, like it was so hard to kill them. But on top of that, you took frost damage ridiculously fast. So you had like your health bar, and then below your health bar, they had put like this little blue bar, and at the blue I know. Anyway, the blue bar reached all the way to max, right? You would start taking immense of health damage. Like I'm talking huge chunks of your health would just drop. And obviously, if it drops all the way down to zero, you die, right? On top of that, you could also be frozen. So you could just be frozen, unable to react, unable to go to any fires or anything like that to like, warm up again. And you were just stuck there. And the worst part is you could be just stuck there taking damage and then dying. Like, oh, fuck that level. Fuck that area so much. Like even like Zichik and Celerio, who were like overly powerful, right? Had great characters and everything. They were dying at all from any of the bad guys. They were just dying from the ridiculous jumps this level made you do. They died almost a few times because they weren't able to get to a fire in time. Like it's just so stupid. And it's so stressful. Like I even told Celerio, Zichik, um, like if it wasn't for her guiding me everywhere and having like this amazing memory to like navigate through this level, I guarantee we would have been lost or we would have just kept dying over and over again. She's like, yeah, she's like, that's exactly what happened because she did try it by herself, and she was like Matt, I honestly just put down the controller. Like I was just done for a good couple of weeks because I was so pissed at this game. Sorry, I'm horsing up there. Um, but yeah, I like Genshin. Like Genshin is a really good game. If no one's ever tried it before, I don't know if you have, Marie. It's definitely worth a shot. Like it is a good RPG. There's a lot of like, hidden mechanics to it, like what weapon goes with what character, um, what skills and attributes and all that you want to focus on. I kind of discovered by playing Agents of Mayhem, I do enjoy RPGs that have multiple characters to look after. I like switching up my teams and stuff like that. Um, which I think is why I really got into Agents of Mayhem. But anyway, that's a different time, different day. Genshin's right now. The other cool thing with Genshin is that you can like combine elements. So, for example, you could attack a group of enemies with like a wind attack. No, sorry, you can attack a group of enemies with a fire attack, then use the wind to like create a wildfire and like spread that fire right across, right? Or vice versa. You could throw some water down in front of the enemies and then zap it with lightning with another character, and it would cause an electric field on the floor. Like it's really cool. Like in the beginning, you're kind of just dinking around, you're just using one character or two characters, you're just kind of messing around, getting a feel for it. But later on, yeah, like with Z-Chick's level or Celerio's, right, they're just like zooming through four different characters, and combining elements. Like it's really sick. I told them, I was like, hats off to you guys. Like you guys are amazing players, which I get for both of them because they've also taken the time to like study the, what do you call it, the proper builds and all that stuff. Oh, good. You didn't get to watch Z-Chick? Yeah. She's so funny, eh? Like she was right there with me. She's like, fuck this level. Oh, but it's like, if you ever get a chance, Slur Girl's really funny. She does okay, like she'll say she swears, but like she's not really that bad for swearing. But when she does like pop one out, it's like perfect timing. It's so funny. Again, right? It depends how you feel. Like if you like RPGs, I definitely think it's worth a shot. I get why people compare the graphics and the environment, to like Breath of the Wild, because it is very Breath of the Wild, like as far as that goes. Which is, I don't know. It's one game I played. I didn't like it. I hate that. Everyone got really pumped over Breath of the Wild. It was the first game I got with a Switch, and the actual reason I bought a Switch because I was like, man, I really want to play Zelda again. I haven't played a Legend of Zelda game in a really long time, right? I think the last one I played was on the Wii, which is doesn't sound like a long time ago, but it was a long time ago, right? It was just a little bit of Twilight Princess, which I would like to go back to again. Um, Different day, different time, maybe. But yeah, so anyways, I got it. And, like I really liked it when I was first playing it. By first, I mean maybe a couple hours, and then I think I went to play it again like 3 weeks later, and like it just got boring. I was just like, you know what? It's kind of like the same shit. Like the shrines were a cool idea, but when the shrines became all there was in the game, and then like obviously there's these guardians or whatever that you have to take down. Like, there's other little things, but like, there's no temples, right? There's none of that stuff, or no dungeons or whatever to go into. And I like that. I need that in a Zelda game. I don't mind exploring. I don't mind having an open world, but I definitely need like a dungeon, right? Like, I don't know. That's just how Zelda is. Like, it's so weird not to have them in a Zelda game. Which I don't know. I think Tears of the Kingdom did bring back. I can't remember now. I didn't end up getting that game yet. I might. We'll see. I would like to finish Breath of the Wild before I jump into that one, because this is actual, like, somewhat of a, yeah, no, I guess it is. It's an actual sequel to that one. I also want to try the Kirby game that came out. Like, I got my Switch really late. Like, I only got my Switch maybe a year ago. So I got a lot of catching up. The other one I really wanted to try too was Splatoon. Yeah, that one looked like a lot of fun. And oh my gosh, Mario and Rabbids. That would also look like a lot of fun. Sorry, there's just so many I remember that came out. And I was like, man, I wish I had one. And then luckily one day Cheyenne finally got a really good deal on it. If I never told you before, she got it for $1. Like, it was ridiculous. It was at the thrift store. Best deal we ever got. Um, I know I did try to play a little bit of the Switch over the weekend, but like, I didn't really get too much progress made in there. I've not I've been playing a lot of my Pokemon trading card games, so I mean, it's kind of the same conversation every week. That game doesn't ever change. Like, it's a good game, but it's a good old game. Do you know what I mean? There's content there, but there's not a lot of variety in that content. So if you just like the Pokemon trading card game, you're gonna love playing the Game Boy game. If you like Pokemon, this might be a little boring for you because it's yeah, like, you basically battle the same person over and over again, and you try to get all the cards in the booster packs, and then you fight. They don't call them gym leaders. I think they're just called like town leaders or something like that. They separated by like the green town, which is obviously green Pokemon, and there's the blue town, which is all the water Pokemon, etc., etc. Um, yeah, that's pretty much all you do. So like I said, I like it because I like the Pokemon trading card game. It's kind of neat and all that. But even me, like, I can play it for a couple hours and then I'm like, okay, like, I can't anymore. I gotta put this down because you're not really making any progress, right? You're just always collecting cards, and the idea is pretty much to collect the best cards you can get, and then just, excuse me, then just go to town on all the gym leaders. So like, I don't know, maybe after 15, 20 hours of gameplay of collecting all the cards, then you could just literally spend 1 hour going around and beating all the leaders, because you could pretty much enter the gym, so to speak, and go right to the leader and fight them. Unlike the Pokemon games, they usually made you like fight a few newbies, right? And then you got to fight the leader. Yeah, sorry, I don't know if I ever told you, Marie. So what happened is when Cheyenne worked there, she was a cashier, but they also asked her advice a lot on pricing. And obviously, they knew that I liked video games and technology and all that, right? So they came up to Cheyenne and they were like, "Hey, we got this video poker machine." So now we're talking about nostalgia, right? Hopefully, you know what I'm talking about. Those little handheld guys that you can play like Texas Poker on. I know like Wheel of Fortune had one, but they're like little tiny guys, right? They're like size of your hand. Anyway, they thought it was one of those, and Cheyenne just so slyly went like, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh, okay. Well, we're just gonna go $1 on it." And she's like, "Okay." She's like, "You know what? I kind of want to buy it though. It'd be fun to give to Matt." And yeah, she ended up buying it for $1. And then she told me when I got home, I was like, "You sneaky little devil, you." I also got this really cool Trailer Park Boys shirt because her sister worked with her, sorry, at the thrift store as well. She was the clothing pricer. So Cheyenne had like the books, electronics, and housewares under wraps, and her sister had like the um, clothing, the whatchamacallit, the accessories like hats, scarves, mitts, and all that under control. So yeah, between both of them, right, they always got the best deals. I miss those days. I used to have a nice closet full of nice clothing. Now I have to go out and pay like top dollar. Um, yeah, it was really cool. I got super lucky. My goal is actually now I want to get my mom a Switch because I know that she would really like to have one. I have to see because she gave me a budget of about 150 she was willing to spend, which is pretty nice. Well, that's a lot for my mom to give up, so I totally get it. So I'm gonna see if I can find her a good deal. Because she loves Animal Crossing, and I would like to get that for her just so that she could play Animal Crossing. Um, and then, yeah, I guess too she could also play all those old Nintendo games like I do. I know she'd have a blast doing that as well. So yeah, it'd be a really good deal for her. Hopefully, I can score one pretty soon for a cheap price. Yeah. Oh, and then we watched Without a Paddle. Cheyenne. Well, we only watched half of it right now, but I really like it. It's really funny. If you haven't seen it before, it's an old like nineties or 2000s. Would you say, Cheyenne? Okay, so 2000s. The reason why I like it though is like all my favorite actors are in it. So Seth Green is in it. Dax Shepard's in it. I never remember his name. I only remember him as the what's his name? Matthew Lillard. Lillard. Oh, okay, nice. I always remember him as the Scream guy. He was so good in Scream. Like he's a good bad guy. He's a really good bad guy. Um, Funny that Billy never became anything. I don't remember Billy doing anything else like the other killer in Scream. Yeah, that was his one hit wonder. That sucks. Anyway, but yeah, super funny. It's just like this stupid like stoner comedy, I guess, like back in the day. Um, Three guys are just like trying to go on this treasure hunt um, to honor their dead best friend, and it just gets ridiculous from there. Like it's so funny. There's like a scene with a bear that's super hilarious. I don't want to spoil anything. I know it's an old movie, but in case someone doesn't want to watch it, there's definitely a funny scene with a pot farm. And that's where Shy and I kind of left off. So I'm sure there's gonna be more wacky adventures coming soon. Oh my god, no way. Marie, our moms are like the same. That's too funny. That was my mom's favorite Animal Crossing too. She loved the GameCube version. She literally would beat it with four characters, right? And have those four statues around, then make another file and redo that whole experience again. Like she just couldn't get enough of the GameCube version. She I think she was like a hit and miss with the Wii one because I did get her a Wii, right? So she could play the I think it's City Folk or something like that came out on the Wii. Um, like she liked it, right? But it wasn't like the GameCube one definitely took her away. Which I totally get because I remember when I finally saw Animal Crossing on the GameCube, like when my friend got it, there was like nothing like that, right? Like I mean, The Sims was decent, but it was no Animal Crossing. And I remember we all used to get like so competitive. I remember I actually had my best friend like pissed, like I mean fucking livid with me because he had this one wolf in his town called Wolfgang, and he worked so hard to build a friendship with him to have him stay in there. He gave me this game for 1 week, and I had that motherfucker hop ship. Like Wolfgang went to a different town, and I remember I gave it back to him and say nothing. And he was like the next day at school, he's like, "You fucking piece of shit." He's like, "You made me lose him," and he was so mad. I felt so bad. Like I was learning the game. I fucked up. I'm sorry. um, but yeah, no, I was gonna say because my mom. Okay, my mom, I don't think my mom played Facebook Bingo, but she was so big. It's like Facebook, like Farmville, Cityville, Cafe World, like all those ones. Like, oh, she still plays them. Like, she still found different versions of them and rocks that constantly. I told her, I was like, why don't you go back to your Animal Crossing? It's such better use of your time than these stupid Cityvilles. And it was funny too. I guess she forgot that like back in the day, right? You had to add people and make friends with them. in order to like be successful in like Farmville and all that, right? And Cheyenne had to like remind her of all that. So she's sitting down one day and trying to explain to her like how Facebook works again because she, mom forgets every once in a while. But it was funny because she had like all of these friends, like I mean a ridiculous amount of friends, and she's like, "Who the hell are all these people?" She's like, "Why did I add them?" And Cheyenne's like, "Yeah, you remember? Like, you had to add them to play Farmville. Like, I don't know, whatever it was. You had to add a member to get like an extra piece of hay or whatever concept they had back then." But she was just so confused. And like, they would obviously like message on her wall like "Happy Birthday" when it was her birthday, because like just like Facebook and Twitter and all those, they always advertise your birthday. She's like, "Who are these people? Why do they wish me? How do they know it's my birthday?" Oh, Mom, if you listen to this later, I love you and you're cute. Actually, to be honest, my mom does actually listen to this podcast. It's super nice. She always tries to encourage the rest of the family to listen to it as well. Sorry, family members who have to listen to this. They have no idea about any video games whatsoever. But yeah, I'm gonna dive into this for a little bit while we wait for some more people to hop on. Okay, let me just quickly switch tabs here. Okay. Perfect. Okay, I can still see chat. Sorry, I just want to be able to see chat and actually read this out at the same time. Okay, so some of the accessories that I was talking about. So first off, if you're not on my Discord, I know Marie is, but if you're listening to this, you're not on the Discord, definitely join. First off, but secondly, JW and myself were talking about an old YouTube channel. I mean, it's still around now, but it's pretty old. It's got to be over like 10 years old now. The gentleman's name is the Angry Video Game Nerd, and he's like notorious, right, for playing old Nintendo games and Sega Genesis games, Atari, like all that stuff, right? But he had one particular episode where he um, tried out all the Nintendo, like the OG Nintendo, sorry, accessories, and to let you know which ones work, which ones didn't, and it's so funny, like so ridiculously funny. If you do have like a whatever it is, 20 minutes to spare time, I highly recommend checking it out. It's beyond hilarious. Just because like these things like were a hit and miss. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. Some of them didn't work as well as they were supposed to work. And he just like he was having a blast, but at the same time, like I get the frustration he had as well. But yeah, so here I had a few Nintendo ones because for me, like I grew up on Nintendo. And Sega and all those other guys, right? But the accessories I usually bought were always from Nintendo. I think the most current Nintendo accessories I probably bought were when the Wii craze took place. I bought the tennis racket, I bought the baseball bat, I bought the gun you could use, like anything you could get your hands on for the Wii. Cheyenne, my mom, and myself would buy because they knew I loved the Wii too. Like I really got into the Wii. I think the Wii was one of my favorite Nintendo systems um, in like a long time. Like I like the GameCube, don't get me wrong, but like I went all out for the Wii. But anyway, yeah. So here's a few funny ones. The nice part with this website is it actually tells you pricing as well to let you know which ones are rare. So this one unfortunately is worthless, but there was the Mario DDR dance mat for the GameCube. So when Dance Dance Revolution was a huge hit, they actually made a Mario version of the mat. Nothing special. So the mat had like an A and B button that you can hit a start a select button. It had the up, left, right, down arrows as well. And then in the middle, it just had Mario doing like a breakdance move. And then on the left to right hand sides, it has like warning and just things to be careful with. So I thought that one was kind of funny. I don't remember. I no, like I have a vague memory of what you call it, the Mario map for the GameCube. But I never seen a picture of it. Uh, Yeah, right. Okay, I'm glad you agree. Yeah, the Wii was just so different, and like the motion controls worked really well. You know what I mean? Like it was the first system to like really execute that. It won't be on here because this is Nintendo list. Sorry, but I was trying to tell JW this. Back in the day, I had what you call it. Um, I had a Sega Genesis that had the hexagon that you would stand in the middle of, and it was supposed to be like a full body motion control, almost like you're describing the Xbox Connect. It only worked on a few games, but yeah, you could like kick, punch, and your character would kick and punch. Now, it wasn't very accurate. It took a lot to pick up your emotions. But yeah, um, it was like the first version, right, of motion controls. But yeah, you're right. The Wii totally dominated that market. Hello, Juggernaut. How's it going, buddy? Long time no see. Xbox Connect was really cool too. It took a lot of space, eh? Like that was the only thing I found that was kind of annoying with the Xbox Connect. Um, the first game Cheyenne and me played though, we got the Xbox, right? I got Mortal Kombat, and then the second game I got was whatchamacallit? Oh, was it Xbox Connect Adventures? I want to say. That one was really loud and noisy. I'll put it that way because you had like this like I think it was like river rapids you had to go down, and like logs would pass. You'd have to jump up and try to dodge them, or you'd have to like duck down to avoid it. It was a freaking workout. Okay, it was definitely a workout. But I remember we were in an apartment at the time. We were living at my mom's place, and like it was just so loud. We'd play that game. Like it just sounded like elephants stomping in the living room. It wasn't meant to be a solo podcast today, but I mean that's okay. Whatever. I'm having a good time with Marie. We're having some reminiscent right now. We're talking about some old technology earlier, and now we're focusing on the accessories, like gaming accessories. So if you had any Juggernaut, feel free to shout them out. Any that you might have used back in the day. Um, oh, what are you getting excited for? I remember. Petrod Farm remembers. On the Game Boy. Okay, I love how we all showed out different versions of the Game Boy. Mine was like the OG Game Boy. Marie's was the Game Boy Color, and yours is the Game Boy Advance. I had this green alien light. Ooh. Okay, so that's like we were describing earlier. Like we had the magnifying glass with the light in it as well. So for hers, right, it attached to the Game Boy Color. Mine was the old, big gray brick. Like you would attach it to the top. And I was saying that you could also get an extra accessory, which was speakers. So you'd have like a surround sound experience. Oh my god. I know, right? Like those games were so much fun, but you couldn't play them like late at night. Like maybe Guitar Hero you could get away with, but definitely not Dance Dance Revolution. So yeah, the other one that they had was the regular Nintendo Speedboard. So this was actually one that the Angry Video Game Nerd used. I think I hope I could use his stuff later on. We'll see. If not, then I found out it was copywritten. Um, but basically, it's this giant piece of plastic. Like I'm not even joking. It's a giant piece of plastic. There has a little slot in it where you could fit the original Nintendo controller in. And the idea is that this piece of plastic would sit on your lap, and it would increase your button speed. So you'd be able to click your buttons faster. But like anyone who plays video games knows you need to hold a controller. You can't just have it in your lap and punch the D-pad, punch A and B. So obviously this didn't work. If you do have one though today, you could get $85 if it was in its complete box set, or you could get at least $50 for it without being in the box. And it's literally just a piece of plastic. It's so ridiculous. Um, oh my god, Rock Band and Guitar Hero, like that was another one, eh? Like that just blew up. Like we were talking about how Pokemon Blue and Red blew up really big. Dance Dance Revolution kind of had like a little spike in my school. Like it was, kind of popular. But definitely Rock Band, Guitar Hero, those ones were just like massive. Like people who didn't play video games played those games. You know what I mean? They were huge, huge. I'm actually blown away that somewhere in time that trend just kind of dipped. Like I actually can't believe that we fell off the Guitar Hero bandwagon. It's crazy to think that actually took place. Um, the second one was I totally have these and I love them and I wish more games had used them at the time. But the DK bongo drums, so good, so stupid, and so good. If you never used them, I think there was two Donkey Kong games that actually utilized them, and basically you just hit either the left or the right side, and it was like a version of DDR, right? But with your hands, and yeah, you would just go bananas. The cool one is like not only could you like slap the bongo drums, but you could also like clap and it would register that too. So you were like, like banging on the drums, banging on the drums. It was so ridiculous. Like I wish I had laughed so hard watching me play that stupid game. Because I would just get so into it. You got your ugly face on while you're doing it too. um, yeah. You're right, Juggernaut. There was someone actually that beat Dark Souls and Elden Ring using them, which is ridiculous. Like absolutely ridiculous to think about. Um, Here, I'm just gonna put chat on so I can see it better. There we go. There we go. Much, much better. Okay, so as soon as I graduated DDR, I've never seen them before. Oops. There we go. My PS. Wow, really? That's cool that you had a DDR in gym class. That's actually crazy. Damn, your school was cool. Um, yeah, we played those. We went to the game con last year. I've never seen them before. Really? They're so much fun. They're so much fun. I love those goddamn bongo drums. They're just absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, there was that one. Apparently they're worthless, which I'm kind of surprised. I guess not, because it is only the GameCube, right? That it came out on. Yeah, it was the GameCube. So I guess it wasn't that long ago. The next one. Now I only remember this thing because, surprisingly enough, at one point in Mindful's life, and there's a little story that at one point I'll share a little story time with it. I have in the past, but I used to go into a Bible. What do you want to call it? After school program. um, and at the end of this program, we got to, I think our Bible teacher just wanted to be like fun, and kind of like make it into something. Like she was really, really cool. Okay, I will say that. Like I had a really great experience in that one. I'm not much of like a Bible thumper or anything like that. But I had a really good time right in that course because that lady just made it really entertaining. But anyway, um, at the end of the year, she had like a little party at her house. There was like snacks and all that stuff, and then she brought out the regular Nintendo. And I think at that time there would have been the N64 out, so like it was kind of retro to bring that out still. But she had the Power Pad. So if you don't know what the Power Pad is this giant um like giant pad that you put on your floor. It's labeled from 1 to 12, and it would interact with certain games. So she had like this Olympic game, and basically, you would stand on whatever squares you're supposed to. So there's blue, so like 1, 2, 5, 6, 9, 10. Those numbers are in blue. 3, 4, 7, 8, 11, 12, they're in pink. And the reason for that is it was supposed to be player one, player two. So you would go into the Olympic game, right? And you would do whatever it is, a 5 mile sprint. You would do hurdles and stuff like that, and like the mat would register your feet slamming on it. It would register, if both feet lifted off the mat, it registered as a jump. I didn't have a bad experience with it. I think that thing worked pretty well for the most part. But I do remember the Angry Video Game Nerd covering this and it like not working at all, to the point that like he went onto the mat and he was like using his hands to like make the character run. Um, if you have one nowadays, though, this actually is worth money. You could get it for either $76, or if you had the entire set in the original box. Oh, and the game was called Family Fun Fitness. You could get as high as to $100. So yeah, it was like a really like neat little pad. Yeah, little motion sensor like we were talking about earlier. Before it got a little fine tuned. Oh my god, I die running like 2 steps, so don't feel bad about a mile. I have asthma too, so like it's really fun. If you haven't noticed, I'm getting better though. Remember to take my puffer. I'm not wheezing as I'm trying to do this podcast. Like, fuck, let me tell you, I felt so goddamn fat because like sometimes I just like, start wheezing on the podcast. It wasn't for any reason; just my lungs were giving out. But anyway, yeah. So I remember taking my puffer. Juggernaut, what'd you say, buddy? This was when I was in 6th and 8th grade. It wasn't something I played because I already was being bullied. Didn't want to give more reasons. Aw, I totally get you, my dude. Don't you worry. I was bully target number uno at my school too. But you know, fuck them. Cause look at you now, right? You a rock star, buddy. Like I always said, life gets way better after school. It's ridiculous how much life changes. Um. Okay, sorry, I just have to scroll a little bit. Okay, wait. Something else similar to game accessories. Oh, what else did you have, Juggernaut? I'll just scroll to my next one while you're pointing that out. Oh my god, the next one's so good. The next one's so good. Um, okay, like when I bought Bloodborne, it had a steel case, came with. Okay, that shit is cool though. Like you're talking about like the little freebies you get when you get the collector's edition or whatever, like that shit's cool. I don't even care. Like I know there's some that people like make fun of, but like I think it's dope. Like I would be happy buying Black Flag and getting the Assassin's Creed football. Like you know what I mean? Like if you like video games, you're gonna like that shit. You know what I mean? I know it's gonna be a dust collector at one point, but who cares? Yours is really neat though. I like that you actually got like an art book and a soundtrack to go along with it. Man, you just a big old Bloodborne fan, eh? I have to jump back into that world again. So yeah, the next one, if you guys have never heard of it before, it's the Konami Laser Scope. So again, Konami, right, pretty good at making stuff. This one, not so much. It's actually worthless as well. I'm kind of surprised. Do you own the laser scope, Juggernaut? I'm gonna be blown away if you have one because that's so fucking funny. Like just the device itself. But anyway, for those of you who don't know, it only worked I think on about 2 different games. The idea was is you had this ridiculous headset on your head. Um, you had a little tiny like if you ever see Dragon Ball Z, the best way I can describe it is like a Z reader on your eyeball and a little microphone in front of you. And the objective was to say the word fire. It was voice censored, sorry. So every time you said the word fire, your gun would fire, right? So if you want to fire rapidly, you'd go, fire, 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 right? But if you're the angry video game nerd, he found out that you didn't have to say the word fire. So needless to say, the episode gets pretty funny because he's like, fuck, shit, crap. And like whatever he said, this thing would just start firing its gun. Yeah, the original idea was that it was supposed to just say you were supposed to just say fire and the gun would go off. And that was literally it. That was the whole point of the accessory, was just to fire the gun without having to push the A button. So just imagine sitting in your living room, right? Your parents are nearby, and you're just playing a game going fire, fire, fire. Like I love Nintendo. Like it was such a stupid time to be alive. What's the matter? You back, sorry? Oh. Okay, when I bought Type Zero, that's my jam. That's the one Final Fantasy game I owned on the Xbox. It came with the Final Fantasy 15 demo that you can't get any other way. Oh, what? Um, but yeah, that's dope that you got the Final Fantasy 15 demo. I like too that you couldn't get it. So you can't download it, right? Is what you're saying? That's really neat. Um, ooh, the next one on there was the Power Glove. For those, so again, like I can't show it enough. Okay, please watch the angry video game episode with the Nintendo accessories. You will pee yourself laughing. He is just hilarious, and just how bad these products work even makes it funnier. Um, okay, so the Power Glove is worth money. Wow, if you actually had a Power Glove, you can get $282, um, which is pretty decent for just this piece of crap. So basically, what the idea was, um, yeah, it was meant to be worn on your hand like an actual glove, and I believe you would use somewhat motion controls to like guide a plane or whatever it was, or whatever you're controlling at the time, and you had an entire like keyboard pretty much on your wrist to forearm, and you could punch in commands that way as well. This thing did not work at all. The keyboard was fine, obviously, buttons totally cool, but the motion controls did not register anything at all. And there's actually a scene. The reason why I say fighter jet or flying simulator is because the angry video game nerd tested on one of them, and like all he had to do was land the plane, and I think it was like a good 10 minutes of him just trying to land this plane over and over again with motion controls, and like it wasn't happening. And because it's an old Nintendo game, right, of course you don't just you know restart or anything. The plane has to like crash and burn and explode and then you have to restart the whole thing again. Yeah, it was just super funny, super stupid too. I love those goddamn accessories. Sorry, Juggernaut. You can't download it anywhere. It's a very specific demo called Episode. Oh, okay. It's completely early access. Ooh, that's cool. Even though it's just a demo, I mean, obviously you wouldn't sell it, but I'm imagining that thing's gonna be worth some money down the road. Then, if it's completely different from what the game came out to be. It's just like those people that downloaded what was it PT on their PS4 and didn't delete it. They would just sell the entire console with that game on there, and yeah, man, they got a pretty penny for that one. Exactly, Juggernaut. Yeah. Besides that, I know for you, you probably won't sell it because obviously that's a big part of your history. Like you love Square Enix. Whoo, $2,000 just for having PT on it? That's insane. Insane. Aw, Juggernauts. Aw, you sweet Juju. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Oh, is Marie? Okay, sorry. I don't have my actual like chat on right now, Twitch, by the way. I'm just on the restream chat, so it doesn't show everything. Thank you, Marie. That's very sweet of you as well. um, what else do we have on here? I know it. I know now it was because you said thank you. I'm just saying I don't have the actual Twitch chat on. Um, buddy, I'm too poor half the time to afford Game Pass. I feel you. Life's rough. Um, I was gonna say I'm on the Restream website. So if you guys don't know, because I use the Chromebook, I have to use Restream instead of what do you call it? Oh my god, I can't think of the word now. OBS. That's the word. I can't use that one on the Chromebook. It doesn't work at all. Oh yeah, I guess I was gonna say Juggernaut. I was like, can't you get on PlayStation Plus? But yeah, um, that's right. Xbox would have control of Madden, so yeah, PlayStation wouldn't have it for free. That sucks. Because like on Xbox, right? Like if you have Game Pass, you have EA Access, and EA Access gives you well access to all those games. um, they're freaking expensive too. Yeah, you can't do it on PlayStation. Yeah, I know you're right, my man. That sucks. That really sucks. So yeah, so the next one was this item's worthless. It's not as much money as the other ones are. But if you had a Super Nintendo, hopefully at one point you had the Super Scope 6. So basically it was like this giant ass bazooka, and it was supposed to help you play Super Scope. So like literally it was like a little mini rocket launcher, like a little grenade launcher. You'd put it onto your shoulder. You'd hold the gun to the screen. This little plastic, again, saying radar, right, would go to your eye, and you would use that to shoot the things. Almost like back in the day with the OG Duck Hunt, how you had the gun. This one just had a scope, and it would be a shoulder attachment, so to speak. It did not work, obviously. um, it couldn't register it properly. It was real shit. It was real shit. um, Cheyenne, that's my catchphrase. Okay, if I don't say people get worried. Don't say it again, you son of a bitch. See, it doesn't feel natural. Um, anyway, the Wii had the balance board. If any of you guys ever owned that one, unfortunately, again, I think it's just too new to be worth any actual value. Oh, I'm sure you have a catchphrase. I'm sure. If we ask Marie, I'm pretty sure she could put like your top 3 catchphrases. You saw the balance board? Okay, yeah. That thing was just ridiculous. It was basically just to help you do yoga. Like there was this whole like yoga fit thing for the you. Yeah, it's fun. Oh, I think the Juggernaut's laugh is his catchphrase. Like your laugh is so freaking unique. I love it. I love it so much. Like when you're hyped and you just let that bad boy roar out of your chest, it's a damn good time. Let me tell you that. I'm always smiling in those moments. Uh, you're very welcome. But yeah, this thing didn't even work really properly. It was pretty much just it pretty much became like a doorstop in all honesty. It didn't do what it was supposed to do to help you do your yoga on the Wii. And again, like we were talking about earlier, right? Like the Wii had just a ridiculous amount of accessories. Oh, hiccup. Oh, you guys are the best. Okay, this is kind of dope. I didn't think wow, the Game Boy had this? What? Okay, so apparently there was a Game Boy Pocket sonar. Okay, so how did this one work? Was okay. So the Goodness sonar device, sorry, is to be used with the Game Boy. You plug it into the cartridge slot and drop the yellow bit into a body of water to detect fish. What the hell? As expected, for something this strange and exclusive to Japan only. Ah, that's why. It's quite valuable today at $250. It doesn't even have a game to go with it. Like you just use it to detect fish. Oh, like that was the game. That was the game. Okay, so the sonar thing actually had like a fish game attached to it. But yeah, you used real life, like I guess motions in the water to go fishing on your Game Boy. That's so stupid. Oh my god, that's so stupid but so cool. I love it. I want to own one. Oh, you had a balance board? How did you find it? No way, Juggernaut. Really? That's so. I love stupid games like that. Like, oh my god, that'd be so much fun to stream. Okay. It hasn't come up yet, but I know it will. Juggernaut, I feel like you might know. Maybe you will too, Bree. But do you guys remember when, if it was Game Boy Color or if it was Game Boy Advance? I can't remember which one, but one of them had the solar powered games. You know what I mean? So when you were in direct sunlight, the solar power would do something inside your game itself. Like whether it affected the the night and daytime cycles, or whether it was to help you power it up. Oh, shot to the heart, Juggernaut. You just pulled the old card. But yeah, there actually was. I'll have to post those games for you when I find them, Juggernaut. But there was actual like games that relied on the sun in order to play them, and it must have been only like two or three of those games. I know one was really good, like it was a really good RPG, and they utilized that mechanic pretty well. Um, thanks, Juggernaut. Just rub it, stick that knife in a little deeper. 23. You're what? 35, bitch. But yeah. I'll have to post those afterwards. No, I'm just teasing you, my man. I feel like I feel like you'll like these stupid things. So yeah, I'll post them in the Discord for you afterwards. I have to look for the RPG because the RPG was the best one. Aww, that's mucho kind. What a sweetheart. Um, there's kind of a few little copycat ones on here. So there's the Super Nintendo mouse. There's the N64 mouse. I don't remember the N64 having a mouse. That's weird. Actually, to be honest, I don't remember a lot of accessories for the N64, minus like the Rumble Pack or what you call it. Oh, there was the Rumble Pack and there was the expansion pack. I want to say that was the other one, right? Because I think it only worked on one game that like increased the graphics by I don't even know, maybe a tad, nothing major. Oh, sorry, you have one. Okay, who is it? Um, it's not an item, but when I was in grad school, pre-Zoom years, they made us have a class collab of Second Life, and there was always some sexual deviant looping and moaning sounds in our fake classroom, and everyone was so disturbed. It was like, damn, that's terrible. But
What's
I
up,
definitely
man?
know some people would be the same. Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, Pizza, how's it going, buddy?
It's going good. You too?
Not too bad, not too bad, my man. We were just kind of going over some crazy gaming accessories and reminiscing about some of the items that we used to own back in the day.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't own it. Well, when I said I didn't own one, I didn't own one. My cousin did, but we didn't really use too much of it. I don't, it wasn't that. It was he had N64, but I'm thinking about I'm thinking about the Dreamcast controller and like how it had a little screen in the middle. I'm not sure what it was ever for. I never used it, but I was like, that's pretty cool. Like maybe it could be like some kind of LCD, some kind of light up thing. But I never really.
Are you talking about the memory card slot on the
Oh,
Sega Dreamcast?
oh, I don't know. I have no idea, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just happen to
Oh,
know, it was just a booking controller, and like just the middle part had it was empty, and I didn't know what it ever did. It could be memory. I don't know. Actually, you might know more about it than I do. I
yeah,
just
yeah.
happened to
No, I'm
like,
surprised you
yeah.
were playing games then without the memory card. Because I don't think there was a way to save games, or maybe there was on the disc. I didn't. I thought you had to have the memory card though. But yeah,
Oh,
that's all it was. Pizza. It was a little tiny memory card, and you could pull out the memory card, and it was actually like a little miniature Game Boy. It had a D-pad, it had A B button, it had start and select. Some games actually interacted with it. So Sonic Adventure, um, for example, you had these little characters called Chows, and you would look after and take care of them. You could basically take your memory card out. It ran on one of those little disc batteries, and you could look after your Chow as you were, away from your console.
interesting. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool. I never really used it, anything like that. I played that Sonic Adventure game, but I mean, I was like for a few minutes. But yeah, I never really got anything past it. But that's a cool little feature. It's something. It's a gimmick, but I mean, it's nothing. Well, I'm sure that back then it was the thing to do, but nowadays,
exactly.
we kind of like nowadays, everything has a gimmick. Even the consoles now have gimmicks. The console is something that's not an accessory. It seems. It's no longer the thing you need for gaming. It's now the thing you need for gaming and accessories. Like with the game, but like with the how the Xbox has, all this gives like power saving. You're able to turn your TV on through the console. Like
Yep.
just like all that little stuff that's like it's not really needed, but It's like that's cool stuff to have just added.
Yeah, it's now kind of changed the bar, right, on what you expect from your console. Yeah, versus back in the day when it was just like you said, little controller accessories that you could add on.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't. I never really saw. There were a few things I used for accessories, but I mean, most of the time it was me just kind of playing the game, just doing that. But I know like thinking about modern day, like with PlayStation, like with the PSVR, like that's the one I can actually like think about most because that's what I use. Like I used all the accessories. I used the motion controllers. I used the light gun. I used the camera. Like I did all that. So like there were definitely some accessories that I used, but it wasn't a lot of them though. Like I wasn't really big on having like add-ons to my console, mainly because I wasn't really I didn't have a lot of space back then, so I kind of just had a console, my controller, and then when I got more space, then I started getting more accessories, and it definitely, I won't say it improved the gaming experience, but it added a lot more value. It added a lot more. It enhanced my experience. Like I was able to do other things that kind of keep me engaged. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
I think you're right too because I mean, I'm sure there was, but after the Wii craze and all the different accessories you could add on, and then minus what you were just talking about PlayStation, right? The only thing I can really think about Xbox wise that would have been um, like an attachment or additional item to have was the Connect. I really don't like recalling at least. I don't really think there was anything extra you could have with the Xbox, like a gun controller or whatever it might have been. Pretty sure it was just the Connect really for Xbox 360, and then after that, Xbox One um, had the Connect built in, right? During its first part of the launch.
Oh yeah, I never used the Connect. I mean, I don't Xbox One. I think I want to say that I was still using the Wii at that time. Yeah, yeah, I think
Yeah,
I was
like the
using
Wii
the
had a
Wii
lot.
at that time, like I guess, I'm sure that some people might call they might call itself like, the Wii most of the kind of stuff an accessory, but I mean, I think that I think the Wii was the first console where, the console itself was an accessory. The things you need were accessories, like they were no longer, well, sorry, like they were things that you needed to play the game for sure. But at the same time, people also classify them as accessories. So, like I think that's the first console that really put this whole thing about, well, now the console you're buying, the system you're buying, doubles as an accessory, doubles as a gimmick to enhance the experience. So, that's kind of where I started seeing it, seeing that idea get pushed further with, current gen.
True, actually, yeah. No, that's yeah, that's pretty accurate. Yeah, because the Wii did kind of change the entire console idea, like the idea of a console itself. You're right. With going to the motion controls, and then yeah, you're right. The accessories just kind of enhance that experience. Like I was saying, I had this Alien game I used to play, right? And you could use the Wii remote, just normal, right, to shoot at the aliens, or you could use the gun that came with the game. Attach the Wii controller in there, and it felt like more realistic. I think it was actually like a shotgun. It was so cool. And yeah, you could just like blast aliens, and it felt better, right? Because you're holding like an actual plastic gun. It really added to the experience. Sorry, I was gonna quick little shout here. The Juggernaut also said he brought up PSVR. That's what Pizza was talking about too, Juggernaut. And then he was saying on the PS3 they had PS3 Move controllers. I did forget about that. You are right. Yeah, PS3. Um, was utilizing those too back in the day. They looked they looked a little naughty. I'm not gonna lie. They looked a little naughty. They were a little ridiculously shaped. And then yeah, the Wii Zapper. That was another really good one too.
Yeah, yeah, like and I will say that it is looking back at it, it's kind of weird how it's like you know the Wii Zapper was a Wii mode and the whole nunchuck thing, so it's like if that's an accessory, then the controller itself that you need to play is also an accessory. It's no longer just that. I mean, I guess yeah, like it's no longer the thing that you need anymore. Like you could just play, and then it's like you took that away, then you just have the console, and then you know. Although I keep saying yes. I see how the terms like how phrasing is happening now, where we're not really calling, well, we are calling things accessories now, and then as things get integrated, we're kind of just calling everything that important component. So I know that at least for me, whenever I get accessories now for any console, I have to use it. It's no longer it can enhance my, sorry, yeah, it's no longer enhancing. It's more about I need this thing to play a game. I no
You
longer
know,
need it to have fun. I no longer need it to just goof off. It's now I need to buy this add-on, because if I don't buy it, I can't play anything with it. And so, I think I think with consoles now becoming this one accessory, it's now, we're now having to buy more stuff, do more stuff with it just to make it playable.
I say like correct me if I'm wrong, right? But um, I think like with newer consoles and all that, I guess the accessories, so to speak, would be like the different kinds of controllers. I was just thinking about your YouTube video you made, right? And I guess that would be like because there's not really much you could do now, like you're saying on consoles nowadays, really to change that gaming experience, right? Because like you're right, the consoles they're running everything smooth. Everything's usually on the console itself now. You don't need to buy attachments, but you had some really solid points that you brought up on your YouTube a video there where you were trying out the different controller just for fighting games. So I guess that would be like the next version, right, of accessories.
Uh, oh yeah, I mean that. Yeah, I mean it would be very. I can't say it would be weird. Actually, it would be weird, but I can't say that it would be unexpected that we're now putting accessories as necessities, where if you want to play a game, you have to use this specific controller. I guess, yeah, I was gonna say like Guitar Hero, but again, Guitar Hero, you didn't need the guitar. That was just to enhance. But who knows? Maybe they might release a new Guitar Hero game where you need a specific controller. It might have the X, B, Y buttons, but maybe there's some type of connection thing that only works from the disc to the guitar, and so that might be the case, because I feel as though, somebody could, if a publisher could do that to a game, or a developer, whoever can do it, I'm sure they would, just to get more money out of us. They'll
That's
say, if
crazy.
you
I didn't know you
if
didn't
you
have
want to
to
play
use
a
the
new
guitar.
fighting, oh yeah, if you want to play a new fighting game, you have to buy this specific fighting controller. It looks just like any other controller, but certain things on there might be needed. So, I wouldn't be surprised. I just happened to notice that when I was trying to get controllers, I just happened to realize that some controllers just work for certain types of games.
Yeah. Like what was that controller you were using again, Pizza? Sorry, I forgot the name of it on your video.
It was 8-bit Do, or 8-bit Do. I think it's Do, the Pro 2 controller.
Yeah, like that would look like it had a really nice handle for what you were playing.
Oh yeah, yeah, it didn't feel. It felt like a PS2 controller, just kind of wider, which I appreciate. 'Cause, I got those big hands. The PS2 controller is small in my hand, but
Yeah.
the design of it is really good. Like, it's like it's it has the PS2 layout with a PS4 handle, which I definitely like. And of course, it has the whole button layout and the joystick layout. Because like I grew up playing these games, or at least I grew up playing these fighting games on the PlayStation. So for me, muscle memory is PlayStation controllers, and use I can use that Pro 2 controller on my Steam Deck, and I can use it on my PC just fine. Like no, like because I know using the PS4 controller, you have to do all this other stuff with it. I mean, you can use um a USB cord, but I don't want to do all that. So that's why I got a wireless controller just for that, and it works so well.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
playing, I'm playing all these older games because I know that I can't play it on my Xbox controller because I didn't grow up with that, and so for me, it almost was a necessity. I'm sure that somebody said, "Oh, you don't need it. Don't need it to you know make the game better or make the game work." They might say that it was just to enhance, but someone like me, where you have that muscle memory, you have that connection, or you have like that, yeah, like that. Okay, I don't know what's going on then. I don't know how far
I think it's
I
just
was until it cut off.
I think it's just Discord, to be honest with you. Sometimes it just messes up like that on the voice chat. Marie was saying it happens to her too. But sorry, yeah. So you at the moment it was cutting out. You were kind of just talking about your controller and just how it it felt better for that particular style of games, like the older games. Your muscle memory was reacting better, right, to the controls.
Oh, okay, okay. So then I guess it wasn't far out then, but I was just saying. After that, I was just saying that you know there might be a time where we have games that that can only be playable on a certain type of controller, or certain type of accessory, and it might just be because they're saying, hey, based on our experience, people play this particular fighting game with either a fighting arcade stick kind of whatever, like arcade kind of thing, or they play with a PS2 type controller. So they might say you need to buy this certain controller to play this game.
I agree with you, Pizza. I think, like, when you were talking about, like, I think it's a really solid point. Like, I think when it comes to, like, either certain fighting games or even maybe, like you're saying, certain platformers, having that controller you grew up with and being able to, like, play the game with that controller again, maybe not on the exact same system, but you're right, like, on a more modern system, I think that would be a good advantage. I think that would help a lot. Like, especially, like I said, playing, like, the old fighting games. Or even just like Sly Cooper or whatever, like an old platformer.
Yeah, but I mean, of course, hopefully it doesn't go that way. I just happened to, kind of think about that when you like we were talking about the Dreamcast. Like, you know what? Like I remember like having all the accessories for consoles, and like it just all it did was it just kind of it just enhanced it. It was something that kind of it added more value. It was just an add-on, but so, that's cool. It looks nice on on the PS2. Oh, my controller looks better now with it. But I mean, it never really it wasn't a necessity, but I think that now that, we have all this modern technology, we're at the point now where we can put all these add-ons and accessories in the console. No more having to buy add-ons for it. 'Cause for the Xbox, yeah, but like for the Series X, the only accessory that I have seen that's like, I don't really think it enhances anything, to be honest. It just makes it convenient. Or like it's like the console stand or the controller stand
Yep.
or like yeah, like just things that have things that don't really help it. It's just like it's just there. It doesn't enhance, it doesn't improve. It's just a thing.
That's a good
It's
shout. That's actually a really I didn't even think of those parts. Yeah, you're right. Cause yeah, they are like accessories too. Like on the Xbox, I have little charging pads now, right? Where instead of using batteries, you got the rechargeable battery packs, or whatever. But yeah, it kind of rests on that when it wants to charge. Yeah, yeah. That's a good shout,
uh,
pizza. I didn't even think about those as accessories.
oh yeah, like I call those accessories now because since we've been progressing, all the things that I used to talk about how they enhance the game, they're already in the console, in the controller. So now, all we have are just those little things that they're just there to like, the accessories we have nowadays are only for convenience. So,
Yeah.
it's definitely, or no, we're definitely getting to a point where, you know, people cannot, maybe one day we'll have an Xbox that has LED lights installed and you can just press a button
Oh,
on the controllers or on the little, just press a button in the settings, say, hey, make the Xbox have a light show. And then there you go.
that would be cool. That would actually be really cool. Wow.
Yeah. And like it's possible, like this possible.
Yeah.
I see because the Xbox has an LED light, well, the power light showing. So clearly, they can add more LEDs to it, and it won't do much to it'll just be more lights, and that's it. And that's easy to do. They can probably do that with the next console, and then at that point, maybe they can have rechargeable batteries inside the controllers, and so now, the need for more accessories will be even lower. And, we might get to a point now where the console itself is the accessory. It's no longer just the console.
Yeah. That's a good shout too. Yeah. I was even thinking, I'm sorry, I don't want to miss. I'll just shout out first before I go on. But the Juggernaut, before you cut out there, he just added a quick little comment. He was saying the Itbit Do makes great adapters for Connect PC controllers to stuff like the Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Classic. So he just kind of agree with you about the different controllers out there. Um, but there's even what do you call it? There's even different style. Oh, did I screw it up? Sorry, Juggernaut. What'd you say? Ippidu makes great adapters to connect PS controllers to stuff like the Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Classic. Sorry, did I butcher that?
Oh no, you're fine. Yeah, I don't know how people say it. I just call it the 8-bit do. Something like that's
Yeah.
just we say do in America, so we'll keep it that way.
Sorry, Juggernaut, if I butchered your comment. But no, I was thinking about like those different consoles too that came out. Like I can't remember all of them now, but I know at one point the GameCube had the Pokemon Ball. Um, and then I know there's been some consoles that have done like mock imaging of like Star Wars stuff, like either the whatchamacallit, the Millennium Falcon or stuff like that, right? I think even the N64 had Pikachu's, like not actual Pikachu's body, but it kind of like had the Pikachu shape on it. So you're right. Like what I was trying to say is like to have a light show on the Xbox doesn't seem so far away or so far fetched. Um, because yeah, if they're able to design consoles in these weird shapes and weird images, right, and again, like I think Pikachu's like cheeks would light up when you turn the console on. Yeah, you're right. We should be able to add lights or different different exciting things, I guess, on the console itself. Yeah. Wow, pizza, you really blew my mind. I was just thinking of like old classic accessories, but yeah, now you got me thinking about a whole bunch of other different things.
Yeah, I used to be the same way though. Like I used to be the same way where I would look at all these add-ons, just kind of in their own merit, just things like because I know with the I know like with the Game Boy, they had all the accessories that it just enhanced it. You had the whole you had the little the light that shines on the screen. You had rechargeable batteries. You had like like just like I guess maybe a bigger like a bigger size to play your games. And now we have the Switch. The Switch now has a backlight, so you don't need a light anymore. The Switch is big. You don't need that. You won't be cramped now with it. And the Switch has an internal battery, so you can just plug and play. So that's that's kind of that's what I'm seeing, that evolution of we're putting all the add-ons into the console, and we're kind of just getting more and more advanced with it.
There was there was one I was going to shout out to that came from um, I always have to say the streamer and the viewer, your mom, because that's her name on there. I don't think she posted this for the podcast topic, but again, it is an accessory you can get added on, but it's on the opposite side of the scale. So what I mean is that this accessory actually helps you cheat in video games, which I wasn't aware that you could actually get these on consoles. I don't know. I guess I never really understood how um, aim bots and all that worked on the console side of things. I get it from the PC point of view how they do it, but yeah, I didn't realize that on console they had this ability. So basically, she was just kind of talking about how she was playing Call of Duty, Fortnite, etc. And see, I'm not familiar with that one either, Juggernaut. Lag switches. Like I said, most of the stuff I don't know. I never really caught on to, I guess, or didn't give enough attention to. But anyway, she's been playing all these games, right? And she said there was a couple matches she's had where someone literally would like snipe them from like all the way across the map. And she's like, there's no way this guy would get a headshot. It doesn't matter what gun he's using. And she would even watch like footage later on. And like there was like this horse statue, I guess, that was like on the other side of the map, but he could literally hit the horse's head every time. So she knew something was up, right? So anyway, she did some research, and then she found the device that GameStop sells, and what it's called is the Collective Minds Chronos Zen controller adapter for PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and PC. So from what I understand, what she was explaining is you install this device onto your controller, and then you would download any pack that you want, and in these packs, right, that's where you get all these cheats like auto aim, I don't know, I guess ability to like phase through walls and stuff like that. So you pay for the device. The device is empty. It attaches to your controller, and then you would download the packs for extra money. So yeah, they are paying money to get all this stuff, but once you have it, like that's it. Like there's no stopping you. You know what I mean? Like you can win every Call of Duty match that you want. So I get like I'm for me I'm against that. Like I totally get why she's upset. I mean I would be too. I'm sure you would be as well. Pizza playing Apex if someone could just you walk into the match and you're automatically getting a headshot from your enemy team to kind of just destroys all the fun of it. Um, the cool part that she was telling me because I knew Call of Duty started doing this, but again I didn't fully understand how it worked. They're starting to crack down now where they're shadow banning people who use these devices, or at least the people that are being detected for cheating. They even went as far as she said to shadow ban the people that I guess are harassing others online through the chat. So basically, what happens is you become shadow banned. You go to this private server with all the other cheaters and all the other toxic people, and you're just forced to play with them all the time. Um, which is, I think, how she figured out. She said that one of her teammates was using this device as well too, because she said she got shadow banned for a little bit because she was partnered with this individual, and how she figured out is like two matches in two different lobbies, right, that she went through. She's like, man, there's just a lot of like the same crap in here, and then yeah, that's when she figured it out. But yeah, I don't know if you ever heard of that pizza or experienced that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I have. I mean, And I mean, she or sorry, she or he is right. I have seen it. I mean, I've been playing Call of Duty for almost, yeah, about a decade and some years. So I've kind of seen the evolution of cheating going on, and we still get people who are buying just little devices and things like that to play the game. And I was never down for it. So I'm glad that people are getting shadow banned, or sorry, people who are doing it are getting shadow banned. They're being matched with other players and things like that. Like that's an accessory that really doesn't need to be. That's an accessory that I wouldn't even classify as enhancing or
Yeah.
being a necessity. That's just something. That's a tech thing that shouldn't even be used with gaming. That should be used with something on a computer.
Yeah, it's like to clarify, Juggernaut, like I was gonna say, is I know like aim bots and all that have been around on PC. I guess the part that I'm trying to like emphasize on is that I'm really shocked that you can have it on a console. I always thought consoles were a little more safer, as far as like fair fights go. I didn't realize you could get these attachments and actually put them into your controller itself. Like that's yeah, that kind of like blew my mind when you told me that, and especially like GameStop, right? Like a huge game company, to just openly sell these. Just yeah. Oh, sorry. Juggernaut actually added on a few other things too. He was talking about the lag switches, so he was just going into detail saying back in PS2 and PS3 days, there were things called lag switches where if you turned it on, it would create a lag for everybody. What? Seriously? So you could walk around and kill everyone super easy. What? I had no idea, Juggernaut. Like, is it the same idea? Did it like just connect to your console? Did it connect to the controller? Like, how did you activate this on the PS2 or PS3? And then he was just adding on saying, yeah, aimbot is horrible in Call of Duty Real Forever. It's still there even in the new ones, and now it's even easier to set up, unfortunately, at least with the newer ones. They created an anti-cheat that will detect when it's being used. And yeah, we'll let you into the game. And yeah, it would connect to your console. Wow. Yeah, I had no idea about lag switches. That's a new one for me too. Damn. Okay. I always thought consoles were the safer way to play. I didn't think that people were able to use that stuff on console.
That's interesting. I don't. I never saw the appeal to it, but I guess I don't play games to win all the time, so maybe that's why I don't see the point. That, and also, I just like, why would you want to cheat on a game that like, it's just a game people are having fun on. It's nothing serious. I mean, like, of course, when I get accessories, you know, I only use it to goof around. I only use it because it's something that it's something that I can appreciate, or yeah, something I can appreciate. It's something that it just adds another layer of appeal to the console. I don't buy accessories to get better at a game. I don't buy accessories to I get to make myself number one, because that's not fun to me. I want to goof off, and I want to kind of add more to that goofing off.
Um,
You know,
I think the Juggernaut, yeah, he's adding on to your point, which is what you said, right? I think because of like people like yourself, people like me, Juggernaut, whoever it is. I think we're at that point of maturity, right, where we know we're gonna lose matches, we're not gonna win them all. I think you said it a long time ago, pizza the best. You've worked a long, hard day. You just want to have fun, right? It's not about winning. It's just about playing Apex, COD, whatever the game is that you enjoy doing online, and just like yeah, just play with your friends, having a good time, right? Like the Juggernaut saying, younger audiences, they just want to win and talk smack right away and be the best at this game, right? Where yeah, I mean sometimes it's just not about that. In all honesty, it's just about having fun.
yeah, yeah. But um, I will say that I've neglected I neglected the racing community because I know that for them, they're probably thinking about, well, what about the racing wheel and like all that pedal stuff,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think that's the only exception I can make where that it does both. It's a necessity and it can enhance the gaming experience for sure. Because like that's well, like what, that and also VR. But I guess with VR is it's it's kind of like it's like a twofold thing where it does enhance, but at the same time, it's kind of like you need all of these things. You need all these accessories to play the game. So like that one, that's virtual reality. Like that's kind of its own separate conversation. But
Yeah.
the thing like the wheel though, like that, I can see, I can see someone making a point that racing games have their own thing going on where you can say it's both. It's useful to have and it's important to have, but I don't know what else though, because I think that's really it. Because not many other games really have like that need or they have like that needful accessory. Like you know, sure we have the controllers, yeah, like we have that fighting game thing, but of course that's just that's a thing where that's just preference. I mean, you get a console for that one or whatever. But yeah, racing games, flying games, you know, I guess like maybe technical game, like technical ish, or I guess just simulated games. There we go. Games. That is where I'll make an exception about having accessories because in some instances it will enhance it greatly, and other times it's just a thing that you need, like that Pro controller. It's something you need 100%.
Yeah, I was when you were talking about like the racing one, Juggernaut agrees with you. He likes the ones with pedals and gear shifters. Um, like racing really went all out, but yeah, I almost wonder if like I'm thinking Microsoft Flight Simulator. I don't know how the heck you would do it, but it would be kind of cool. I think that game would be really fun to play if there was again, I don't know how you could possibly do this, but if you almost had like, an airplane like control deck in front of you, um,
Oh yeah.
right? Like, wouldn't
No,
that be a lot more fun to play? Like, oh,
oh yeah, definitely, and of course, and hopefully that's just a thing where that's something that you want to have and not need, because
exactly.
that would be crazy if they said Microsoft, hey, we have this new game coming out for Flight Simulator, but you have to buy this specific controller or this, I guess, the specific thing for they won't call it an accessory because they're, at that point they're past calling it an add-on. It's now an important piece. They're going to call it the important piece, being this flight deck, this machine with buttons and scrolling things, and like you know we might get to that point. Like I think that's a good example of having it be DRM or having it be exclusive to the game, where you have to buy this controller, you have to buy this thing because it's important.
I agree with you. Um, yeah,
But
I think that was pretty much most of them. Um, as far as accessories go. The only thing I could think of was like the again, like you've already said, pizza. These were kind of just extra add-ons, but like I said, way back in the day when you had the Rumble pack that you could add in just for the Rumble feature. But again, like you're right, like nowadays it's been modernized, so um, now you have the Rumble feature already in controllers, right? To the point that you even have a speaker in your controller. That blew me when I was playing on the PS4. I thought that was a nice little add-on. Um, and then I can't remember what the PS5 has now, but that adaptive controller, is that what it's called? Where it actually feels like you're pulling back the bow if you're gonna fire an arrow or whatever. It gives you that like feeling. Um, and then what was the other thing they had for the N64 I mentioned before? Oh, PS5 has a mic in the controller? That's crazy. That's crazy. I don't know if the Xbox had anything different on their newer controllers. I think they did. I just can't remember right now. Um, the other thing I was gonna say for the N64 is they also had the expansion pack. Expansion pack that you could put in. I don't really think it worked for Majora's Mask and maybe a couple other games. I think Donkey Kong was one of them, but it just kind of gave the N64 a little graphic boost. Oh yeah, the N64 controllers were absolutely bonkers. They were very hard to hold and very hard to manage. Yeah, yeah. Is that sure? Sure, Juggernaut. I'm always open to people shouting out podcast topics. This actually topic was thanks to Pizza. He was talking about last podcast, and it got me thinking about different accessories and all that. I thought it'd be a really nice topic to go over. So thank you, Pizza. This was all because of you. So yeah, next time we could definitely do gaming controllers as well.
Um, I didn't even know I made that idea. I was just kind of rambling. It was just something that I needed to kind of put out there, just because maybe someone had the same thought process as me. But that's cool. I'm glad that we were able to kind of talk about it because I don't know who else feels the same way about it. I just I just happen to think about it and like just look at the evolution of it, and I I just have the connections, but maybe someone might now start seeing it and they might start saying, "Huh, I guess so," But yeah, that was I mean that's a good topic. I definitely it got me thinking about what's going to be happening in the future now, where maybe it is going to be a case where someone's going to start a selling us a console that has all the accessories in it, and it's going to be a cheap machine. You will be able to have LEDs. It'll have its own stand included, like an inbuilt stand. It's going to have a little hook for your controller, and it'll all be stuff that's pre-built in the console. You can't take it out. It's pretty much glued to there, and that'll be the next thing. It'll be no more add-ons for your console. Here is your accessory that you're paying almost 400 for, 500 for.
Yeah, I said not to boost your ego or get you hype you up a little more. But I think that's the cool thing. And like one of the things I look forward to about your videos, Pizza, is that I think a lot of people, like not to mass it out, but I think quite a few people think the same way as you when it comes to topics. I think the nice part, like I said, watching your videos or even talking to you on these podcasts, right, is that you really know explain well whatever the idea is that you have, right? You put a great effort and detail into making sure that your point is well understood. So yeah, I just not to hype you up some more, but yeah, I always have a really good conversation with you because I find that you take whatever the point is, whether it's even as JW, let's say he or Jesse, right? If he has a different point than you, you'll take his consideration into it, but then you also really like emphasize your point as well too. Yeah, just really good conversations always with you. I enjoy you being on the podcast, and I enjoy watching your videos too. Cause it's always nice hearing your feedback about a game or controller, whatever it is that you're focusing on for that video. Hey Django, how's it going? Oh no, pizza. I'm sorry, buddy. You cut out again. Shoot, right every time he tries to talk. Poor guy. I'm sorry. If it's my Discord, I apologize. Just let you know again in case you can't hear me. I'll let you know, pizza, though, if you pop back on again. You might have to leave and join back in. But yeah, Django, hope your night's going good, buddy. Um, just out here looking for sexy beasts. This is my Pokemon challenge.
Is that better?
Oh yeah, Pizza, you're back.
No, that's I don't understand why. Oh, I guess there's just this quirks me. My mic is still plugged in.
I mean, I don't know if it's the same for you, but even when like my weather gets bad outside, it can really mess with the internet, and obviously Discord runs off that.
I've heard you just fine since I came in here.
Yeah, not too sure, buddy. I know Chad had the same thing as me. Like when I say I can't hear you, the chat seems to not be able to hear you as well. So it could just be a Discord issue.
Yeah, or and it could be me. I mean, I just turned my PC on not too long ago. Maybe it just needs to be reset or restarted, which I mean that's no big deal. That won't take too long.
Yeah,
Could be that. So I'm definitely not gonna let myself because I'm pretty sure that my stuff is just it's not old, but I mean it's not outdated either. But it's definitely getting to that point where I have to go and start getting new components, like getting a new motherboard or a CPU. But I'm doing that later on when I get paid again.
oops. Yeah, no, that must be. I can't even imagine computers. Like it must be so expensive to replace some of those parts. Um,
You yeah, they're pricing. I mean, what's what I'm getting a new graphics card and a new motherboard, and that alone, that's enough to buy. You could buy a PS5.
wow, that much! Holy crap!
And I mean, if I wasn't having a PC, I would have done that. But I'm using it. I have the PC because I'm able to do all these other things like talk to you on Discord and also look at some videos and look at some posts on Twitter at the same time,
Yeah,
and of course play my games and blah blah blah.
yeah, making your videos, right?
Yeah, it's a pricey thing, and hopefully when I do this upgrade, I'll be set for a few more years, and I can kind of just put all that worry aside and just enjoy the new toys.
Um, Django brought up a really good point. I said in Discord, right? But just anyone listening, or I don't know, Pizza, if you were affected with it as well, or even you, Django. Juggernaut, I gave you a shout on the Discord, but I don't know if you said you were affected. But yeah, so Canada right now, BC is on fire, for for lack of better words. You're absolutely correct, Django. Actually, earlier this year, if you didn't know, Django, all of Canada was pretty much on fire with those forest fires. It got really out of control. But on the state side of the thing, right, there's those two hurricanes that hit as well too. So yeah, hope you guys are all okay and that no one's getting too badly affected from those. Marie, you have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for stopping in and having that great conversation with me for the first hour. I appreciated reminiscing with you. That was fun. But yeah, hopefully you guys are all okay and nobody's like I said, getting hit too hard with those. Um, yep, good times. Okay, what was I gonna say now? Oh, thanks, Django. I appreciate it. Same goes to you, buddy. If you ever need it. Um, I don't think you've ever had a chance yet, Juggernaut. Correct me if I am wrong. But usually, as we get closer to the end of the podcast, I ask someone to make up a little question for us that we can end the podcast on. So I got two more things I was gonna discuss. Um, but yeah, if you don't mind, if you're still on, just to kind of think of a question you'd like us to answer between myself and Pizza. So we usually try to end it off with something positive, like dream job, favorite course you took in school, something interesting about yourself, yada yada yada, right? It's just doesn't really matter. We've had lots of questions at this point, so you could just shout out whatever. Yeah, and then when you have it, I will we'll read that one out for the end of the podcast. Um, I guess the last two things I had was, well, one was pizza. I'd still love to hear, how your gaming week has been, or your couple of gaming weeks. Um, if there's anything new you've been playing, or anything exciting you wanted to shout out, or any uh, YouTube channels that you watch, because I know you don't watch TV and movies, but I know you do watch quite a bit of YouTube streamers.
Yeah, I've been getting back into Apex. Like that's
Ooh.
just been the thing I've been playing. Well, that and also Call of Duty. I think I'm close to being done with this Dead Island 2 game that I finally played. I've been sitting on it for a while now, just haven't had the time, but I'm playing that on the Xbox. It's a fun game. I enjoy it. I don't know if I'm gonna write a review on it though, because I don't really know if I have the knowledge to do so since I haven't really played all the Dead Island games, so I've been kind of lacking in that. But it's a fun game. Definitely something that I don't mind showing off on the channel when I eventually get to making more content on YouTube. But yeah, gaming related, Apex, Call of Duty, Dead Island. That's the rotation until I beat Dead Island, and then I'll start kind of just doing more variety gaming.
I am curious, right? Because I know you're a big fan of Apex, right? Um, I can think of some small things, but just from your point of view, because you're playing both of them, um, how is like the difference between Apex and Call of Duty? Does one stand out more to you? Like, are you still really big into Apex, or is there some things that Call of Duty does that you wish Apex would do, or vice versa?
There are a few things that I can kind of point out for both games that I like. I definitely like how Call of Duty has a actual multi. They have a actual team deathmatch. Like an actual when you die, you respawn instantly. It's not none of this waiting and when you're dropping like it's not taking forever to drop back in and play the game. There's that. They have lots of guns, lots of customization. So, and like they also have small maps. So that's one thing I like about Call of Duty. But with Apex, I like how you have a lot of fluidity. You can climb, you can climb buildings, I guess you can scale buildings, you can climb rocks, you can slide, you can, use a jetpack. So you have a lot of movement and you have more control over your character when you're playing that game. And so there's some things that I wish that they just made a game. Well, Titanfall was the game that was Call of Duty and Apex, but we have that. So you know I'm more geared towards Apex just because of the fact that you know you have more control over your character, and every fight you can get into, it's a fun fight. It's not just you killing the same person over and over again, and it's always something new happening. So that's something I really like about Apex, and that's really why it's one of my favorites. You know, I'm I'm only playing Call of Duty just because I've been watching a lot of YouTubers, like Call of Duty YouTubers, and I was just saying that it looks fun, so maybe I'll get into it. But that's about as far as it goes with my interest. But yeah, Apex is still up there, and you know, the movement, the control, and just the excitement, or like like just like those heart pounding moments. Like that's why I like the game more. Call of Duty, that's just a game that I'm playing for now, but I was interested in it again.
It is, you have a really good point though. Yeah, it is weird that more shooter games don't copy Apex or even Titanfall's like movement, right? Because yeah, when you're in the heat of the battle with those games, and I totally agree with you. With the few times I played Apex, with yourself and 2-6, right? It's nice being able to, like you said, like scale a rooftop, or like vertical slide or whatever, down a hill, and be able to, like, snipe people as you're sliding down. Like, it just, I don't know, I guess it feels more realistic in Apex than in like Call of Duty, Fortnite, or whatever the other ones you might be playing. where it almost feels like clunky, I guess is the way to describe it. Like it doesn't move very fluid. Like it's yeah, yeah. I don't understand why more games like I'm not like Apex has that trademark, right? So I don't know why people don't use that mechanic more often. In shooter games at least.
Oh, yeah. That's just that's just something that I enjoy. I just happen to vibe more with it.
Oh yeah, no, me
And I'm
too.
sure
It's
there
a
are
good.
people who, there are people who probably love Call of Duty more because of the reasons why I said, and maybe more of them. So, there's I can see why they say it, and I enjoy that. I enjoy it for, other things too, like the campaign for Call of Duty, or the fact that you have those realistic sounds. It's a game that has you can shoot people, and you feel you like you can when you shoot someone, you feel that impact when you're pulling the trigger. So, there are some things I like about it, but it's not enough to get my attention and like make me stay. Because even though it has realism, I would much rather play a game where I can do parkour and then still shoot people.
I agree. I agree. Um, the last one I had for you, question wise. Um, Again, Juggernaut, let me know if you're on, just so you have a chance to ask that question if you want to. Um, I asked this, geez, when was it now? I know it was Jesse, and I think Jimmy was in the chat when we had this question on the podcast, because we kind of talked about aim bots and all that, right? I was just curious, Pizza. How do you feel about auto aim in just a video game itself? So the best ones I could think of is like, Red Dead Redemption or Grand Theft Auto. I think you have the ability where you do the quick aim, where you just kind of like quickly hit the aim trigger. It'll line the shot up right with the enemy in front of you. Some games have it right where as long as you're in the vicinity of the enemy, you're able to line your shot up and it'll aim it for you. Um, I was just curious, do you find that to be cheating, even though it's in a single player game, or do you think all games should just have free aim, where you have to line your own shots up?
Um, I don't have an issue with auto aim. I mean, I think that it's something that is needed, at least for me. 'Cause, I mean, when I'm playing on console and I'm using a rifle that is pretty much semi-auto, I have to use auto aim because otherwise, it might take me a while to reach someone, or if I have a high sensitivity, I might just be flying all over the place. So having auto aim, it definitely, well, I would say like a soft auto aim, like, just kind of getting you in the direction. But, I mean, of course, I mean, full auto aim, I don't mind, but, I'm somebody who has to keep moving. Like I can't just stay in one spot. I have to like kind of move around and really get the advantage. And so if it's like full auto aim, it's gonna mess me up because I know that when you're playing a game like that, and you have auto aim. Basically, like I don't know how I don't know how strong it would be. Like I don't know if it's a case where like if I'm aiming, like if my back is towards the person I'm shooting at, like it'll aim so strong that I pretty much I'm forced. Like yeah, like I'm forced to make a 180 and then shoot him because then that would be dizzying and I would get annoyed by it. But I guess it wouldn't be that strong. It would be weird if it was, but you know. But yeah, soft auto aiming, soft blocking, I can be okay with that because it at least helps us controller players. But if you're PC and you have auto aim, that doesn't make sense because like you have way more control with a PC. You can get precision with a PC. With controllers, you're only limited by that rotation. Well, a PC, like, you can make your whole wall a mouse pad, and you have all that freedom to really make your, you know, aim your shots well and hit them every single time.
See, okay, yeah, so we're kind of on the same page. And again, I just want to be clear that Jesse JW, um, he had some solid points too, right? That made me kind of think differently about it. But for me too, like I've just I'm with you, Pete. So like in single player, right? Like on versus a computer, I don't really mind having auto aim in that situation because I'm not, like I said to him, I'm not fighting another person. I'm just fighting the computer. However, like I said, he did bring up a good point, right? He found that by having, excuse me, auto aim, it kind of takes away from the gameplay experience, which I do understand his point. Like I get how that kind of does make it gives you like a little bit of a handicap, so to speak. Um, kind of takes away, I guess, from the gameplay itself and getting used to lining up your shots or finding the best gun, etc. Um, but yeah, like for me, like I don't know, maybe for my play style, I guess is the best way to say it. I'm on your fence with it, where I need that. Like I want to be able to when I'm playing a shooter game, I definitely want to like get through that game quick. Like not I want to finish it quickly, but I want the levels to feel fast paced. Almost like I'm in an action movie. Like I like that experience. I don't want to waste a lot of time, like you said, standing still, aiming my shot, taking down that guy. Um, if I want that experience, at least in my point of view, then I'll move the difficulty up to like hard or veteran or whatever standards they have, right? Anyone who's played Halo, the old school ones, or even like the newer 4 or 5 and whatever, that as you advance your difficulty, right, there is moments where definitely you're slow pacing that level because you have to make sure you knock out the bad guys, on whatever building they might be hiding out on. But when you're just playing the game the first time around on normal difficulty, yeah, I just want to be able to pound through that as quick as possible and just experience, I guess, the fast-paced action of it all. But bringing up the mouse and keyboard is a very solid point. I also didn't think about PC players in that aspect, and you're right. Having the mouse is completely different from playing that game on a controller, because it is really hard to have that precision accuracy as it would be with a mouse, right? It's completely different.
Yeah, I agree with you too about being able to get that fast pace because that's what I want to. I want to be able to play a game and just like not finish it in a day, but I want it to be fast. I want it to be able to just get in there and play, like for 30 minutes or an hour because like there are days where I just don't feel like playing a game and I might just say I'll play for a little bit just to get it out of my system or whatever interest I might have for the night. So, if I'm playing a game and it has auto aim and it helps if it helps me progress faster in some parts or just makes the game feel more fluid, I'll turn it on. And for most games, I have it on anyways, just because, I don't have to waste time having to aim or having to change my sensitivity up and down to get like that perfect like movement when I can just do auto aim and have the game help me beat the game or help me play the game a lot faster. So yeah, I'm down for auto aim. I have no issue with it. I'm sure that some people do, but I mean it's a game. If people shouldn't. Sorry, I'm playing the game to have fun. I'm not trying to win a tournament. I'm not trying to
So true.
be like the next big thing. I'm just playing because I had a long day at work and I want to be able to turn it on and just, kind of turn my brain off. And that's it.
I agree, buddy. Um, Well, I Juggernaut's probably busy right now, so I'm gonna give the final question out. Pizza, because you've been on here so much, I think we're gonna focus the question on you tonight. So take a few minutes if you want to figure out how you'd like to answer this. But my question to you is, for those of you that don't know, Pizza also does, like I said, YouTube content. little bit of video game streaming as well. So during this part of the podcast, like I said, I've been trying to get a little better with editing and adding in actual visuals. So if you're okay with the pizza, during this part, as you're talking, I'll probably have some of your YouTube content popping up, just so people can kind of see what your videos are and click them and check them out. But my question to you was, let's just say, for the beautiful sake of argument, that your school called you up and they went, you know what, my dude, I want you to have the whole year off paid, getting your salary and everything. But you can have a whole year off of just vacation. And I'm curious, like, obviously there's a lot you'd want to do, but with your content creating, what would you do with that whole year off? Would you do more streaming? Do you have some video ideas that you would love to put out? Let people know. So yeah, maybe, who knows? Maybe what's his name, Mr. Beast will pop on there and drop you a few $1,000s because he likes your ideas.
Hmm. That's a yeah. I if I had the whole year off and had the motivation, because like that's my biggest like issue right now. It's just being motivated to consistently put out videos. But yeah, if I did that, I would be talking to, I would be calling up every person who I know that's famous, being like, I would call Mr. Beast, I would call PewDiePie, I would call, um, just like just people who are famous. I'm like, hey, look, I'm doing this gaming thing. Come and join me, and I'll just call them. I'm not busy. I have a whole year. I'll just annoy them. I'll keep calling them until they say yes, and then we'll just goof off and do that kind of stuff. Then I'll say, hey, my friend Michael has a podcast. You should go and join him. And if they say no, then I'll point a gun at them and say yes. There is no no. No, it wasn't a question. It was a demand.
That's actually really
So
good
that's what I
though.
would do.
I never thought of yeah, just trying to get a few, like, I guess not celebrities, but yeah, you're right, like higher status people just to play a game with you. Because yeah, you're right. I'm sure if you asked enough of them, you'd probably get a yes out of one of them eventually.
Oh yeah, and I mean like when you say that, I'm thinking about like with Ninja, like how Ninja was playing with Drake, or at least I think he was.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know if it was true or not,
No,
but
it was. It
he
was.
blew up. So, oh, can you hear me?
Yeah. No, I can hear you. No, so you're right. And what he did play
Okay.
with Drake. You're absolutely correct.
Oh, okay. Oh, then yeah, and like it just out of nowhere, he just became overnight famous over that. Like it's just insane how he was able to pretty much become the new person for Fortnite, all because he had one match. So, you know, I feel as though if I were to go and talk to these famous people and say, hey, want to play, I wouldn't say Fortnite. I don't really play Fortnite like that nowadays, but maybe I'll say, hey, let's play maybe Minecraft because I am kind of interested in it now. Let's play that. Let's play a zombie shooting game. Let's play Gears of War. Just any game that's like, that'll get them pumped, get them hyped up. And then, maybe that might inspire them to start getting people involved and all that stuff. And plus, it just looks good, like saying, hey, some random person from the US got he got a date with Mr. Beast, a gaming date.
I'm curious too because like I said, I never even thought of that. Like it's a solid idea to do with the year off. But obviously, right? Because you are very passionate about Apex. Is there any streamer out there that you'd be like excited to play an Apex match with?
Mm. Uh, there is someone, but I do not know his name. I haven't watched the videos in a while because I kind of, I was kind of in that phase. I was in that transition from watching the game, playing it, and so when I started playing the game more often, I kind of stopped watching the content. Like at least for me, Apex was a game that when I watched it, I said, you know what, I'm gonna play it from now on, and I just started playing it. I stopped watching the videos. So, but he's a cool person. He's a cool guy. He's nice. He's nice to everyone he plays with, even the randoms. But yeah, if I could, I definitely would play a few matches with him and just have fun and goof off, talk about stuff. I mean, I'm sure that I don't know if he would want to talk about Apex. I'm pretty sure that he's probably been talking about that game since he started YouTube, like his channel. So I'm sure he's probably tired of talking about the same content, the same game for years. I know that I probably would. I don't mind talking about Apex or any kind of game I like. But after a while, I might just say, you know what? Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about food. So,
I get you. Yeah,
I would definitely, yeah, I would definitely keep it just general conversations, just to, just to have a conversation, keep the energy flowing, and not be tired out by what we're doing.
I get you. It would be like I guess like not to tire him out or to have him repeat things that he's probably answered a few times, but I feel like especially like you, like as the veteran player for Apex, because you played it for quite a while, right? That I think you'd have some pretty good questions to ask him though, just to get his opinion on. If just it's neat. Like I remember when I used to play Gems of War. There was a few people I'd watched too on stream, and it was interesting just hearing their opinion on the game, right? Especially when they played it for such a long time, right? And watched that game go through so many transitions to what it is today. It's just interesting hearing that feedback on what updates worked, what updates didn't work. What do they still hate about that game? Just like the basics, right? It's kind of interesting just hearing someone's opinion, especially when they've made a whole career out of that game, pretty much.
Oh yeah, I'm always impressed by the people who can make money or like be famous off of playing match three games. Not that they're bad, but I mean, Gems of War, it definitely isn't AAA. It's
Nope.
not going to be Call of Duty, but I mean, it is a fun game to play. Like I can play it on game, I play it on Xbox. The game loads up pretty much instantly. I can play that game for 30 minutes. I won't be bored 'cause, like there is a level of, entertainment that I do have from it, but I couldn't see myself making content on it because, I don't know how many people enjoy match three games, especially match three games that are like it's all 2D. It's all flat 2D animations and characters, generic sounds. But, I guess for us, we enjoy it. So, we could make videos on it. It may be a wide reach, but, I'm sure that someone out here enjoys playing puzzle games like that.
Yeah, yeah, it was. I suppose it's funny thinking back to that when I would actually stream that. I think, Christ, it must have been a good year and a half. That was like my main game of choice, and I will say the community on Twitch was really nice. Um, a little aggressive at times for how they want you to play with certain characters. But like I get it, right? There was just like any trading card game or whatever the case is, right? There's your best decks, your best builds, your best teams, or whatever I refer to them as. And I understand that those are important to use because any of those kind of games, it's all about how much time can I save during the grind, right? So, whatever you're playing, right, you're usually grinding for gold, you're grinding for whatever the currency is. And you want the team that's going to be the quickest, and you want to do the route that's going to produce the most money. But, like I've expressed many times, I'm the kind of person who just likes to have fun with it. I just like to, try out things because this character looks cool or this ability sounds kind of neat, right? And I don't know. I find I learn better in games when I get the opportunity to just kind of tinker around with mechanics and all that. But yeah, it was pretty interesting. Being a match three streamer for a really long time there. Um, Said it just again like just a big shout out to the community on there. Small, but definitely some great personalities that I came across. Now I don't even play match three games anymore. because I got a little tired of them. But
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's only so much you can do with a match three game, but I mean, same here. I don't play it right now, but I mean, I'm sure that down the road, maybe if I'm just playing, sorry, if I'm just like kind of sitting around and just doing nothing, and I happen to see the game pop up, I might say, you know what? Why not? It's right here. I may as well. So I think I'm at that point in my match three career where I'll only play it if I'm bored and I happen to see it. Because if I'm bored and I don't see it, then I won't be touching it. It's like it's no offense to the game itself. It's a good game. It's just when the interest dies down, it's used for me. When the interest dies down, it dies down. It crashes. So for me to get back into it, I need to be able to actually like get into it and like get introduced little by little.
I agree with you, buddy. Um, yeah, so that's pretty much all the topics I had for tonight. Um, again, can't say enough, pizza. Thank you so much for um, making the effort, like week after week, to be a part of this and to join in those conversations. Like I said, I know sometimes you add that comment in, right? Which is not sure if people understand that point that you're trying to make, but like I said again, right? I think you do an excellent job of making your point very clear. You can definitely tell you have a teaching background, my guy, because yeah, when you're speaking, I really think you grab the attention of the audience that you're talking to, and I do hope that you get a little bit more inspiration down the road and we get to see a few more videos on your channel because yeah, I said always enjoy watching them, whether it's just a few minutes long that you make them or a little bit longer, doesn't matter. I think they're always really well executed, and yeah, just look forward to your next one, my friend.
I appreciate that, man. Uh, I definitely will. Your comment on one of my videos was pretty much it was a good feedback because I definitely want to try and do more of those shorts because I have all these little gameplay videos from years ago that I never published. So I'm thinking I may as well just put these on YouTube. I mean, some of them are like 30 seconds, so I can make it a short and kind of just keep that going. But yeah, I'm glad you made that comment because I wanted to know what I could be doing different.
Yeah, it's just shocking. Like it really is. Like I've said, I've had a lot of Twitch clips, and again, Twitch doesn't have the best thing for clips in general. But yeah, it's funny, right? Like just putting them on a different platform and that different like viewership. Like I said, I still can't get over that one Far Cry 4 video I had where it got up to like 1,000 views, and I was like, I did like nothing special in this. Like I can't believe that just blew up, right? And there's other ones where you put like a lot of effort into, and it's like it gets like 100 views or whatever the case might be, and you're like, damn, I really thought that one was going to be a banger. But yeah, definitely. I'm excited to see what happens when you post a few of those and what kind of results you get.
I appreciate that, and yeah, I'm definitely. I keep telling myself I'm gonna definitely do it, but I do want to start doing something. So I know that I'm working. I'll be pretty much busy all week just with training. But I do know that yeah, Friday night, Saturday, I'm gonna definitely be on Twitch and just playing some of these games. I'll probably play emulators again, but yeah, I
Ooh,
definitely want to start just being more active in the community.
yeah, that'd be exciting. Be excited to watch you play some old school games or even some new ones, whatever the case might be that you're emulating. Um, yeah, thanks,
So,
pizza buddy.
yeah.
I
But yeah, I mean, and I enjoy being here. I'm excited to see what's gonna happen next Tuesday. I mean, I know it was just kind of us just talking to each other, but I mean, still was fun. So, maybe next Tuesday we'll have more people kind of coming in, just just talking and just kind of putting their points in as well. So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens next week.
Oh, thanks, buddy. You have a wonderful night, pizza.
Yeah, man, you too. You take care.
Bye. And for the rest of you guys, as always, thank you so much for joining in. Django, thank you for always popping in here, my dude, and literally creating the laughs the minute you come in. For those of you that haven't had a chance, um, I'm saying all this stuff, and I'm going to be hating myself later on for editing, but I think it's worth it. Hopefully, if they get this done properly, there'll be a little link for Django's channel. If you never get the chance, go ahead and please watch his Twitch channel. Um, I don't think you have a YouTube one yet. I mean, if I'm wrong, sorry, Django. You can gladly correct me. But his Twitch channels, he does his Skyrim ones are obviously incredibly famous because he is he has such a huge knowledge for the game that it just makes it fun watching him. It's not like dry and boring. He keeps it very lively. I'm not going to give away too much because I think that's the enjoyment of watching his channel. But he whatever game he's playing, if it's you know Shadow Raiders, um, or like I said, if it's Skyrim, or whatever else game he might be focusing on for that day. It's always very lively, very upbeat, and like I said, he can give you some pretty good, decent background on one of those two games. Thank you to Juggernaut too for popping in and being part of a huge conversation. I really appreciate the fact that you dropped in an idea for next week's podcast. I am very excited to do it. The funniest part, I know you're going to be like, shut up, you did it. But honest to God, I really did think this as we were talking about it. We were talking about different things. I was thinking about gaming controllers too, and I'm glad you brought it up because I kind of was gonna not do it. I was like, yeah, maybe it's just like a pretty dry topic, and there won't be much to talk about. Then watching how excited you got about it, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a good topic. Then I'll roll with it. Let's do it. Let's do it. So yeah, I'm excited next week. I'm sorry. I hope you understood that. Like you were totally welcome to join on. I don't know if you were busy or if you just thought that this was a solo podcast. But for anyone that ever watches me on Twitch, if you're on my Discord, go ahead and pop on. This isn't just mindful only. This isn't certain members only. Anyone that's on my Discord is always welcome to join on, whether you know video games or not. We can find a wide range of topics. At one point, this was like strictly video games, but after Fun Dead had to leave and focus more on his career and his new married life, I kind of changed the dynamic of this, and it just became more of an open mic podcast. I do focus obviously a lot on video games, as you could tell, but I'm never like against talking about food or you know like in this case Mother Nature, whatever the topic might be. And of course lastly, shout out to Marie and Cheyenne as well too. Thank you, Cheyenne, for always popping on these, and throwing out that biddy rain and some rain, but also just always adding little emotes to keep the party going. And then Marie, just thank you for always hopping on right at the beginning of every single stream. I really appreciate that. I think the longest stretch is sometimes waiting for that first viewer. So I appreciate you just being there right at the get go, whether it's just to say hi or whether it's to have an entire conversation. It's always well appreciated. Yeah, so that was a long mindful rant. I'm getting pretty good at making these endings incredibly long. But yeah, I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow for another adventure in Skyrim. Um, I think it's Azura. It's the quest I'm on now. I don't know where I got that from. Oh, it's Oblivion. I was knocking my head against the wall trying to think. Like I saw the quest pop up and I was like, why does Azura pop in my head? And then I remember, I think it's the adoring fan that shouts out that what do you call them? Gods? I know they have a different name in the Elder Scrolls series. The Divines, is that what they call them? I can't remember now. Shoot. Some fan I am, eh? But yeah, so we're gonna be on that quest next. Hopefully I can wrap that up in an hour. It's been really fun playing Skyrim on YouTube. And it's been really hard not to play it. My goal is to only stream my entire adventure of Skyrim. The only thing I can do in Skyrim off stream is sell stuff just to speed up the process. So next time I play, I got everything I need. But yeah, and then on Thursday it's just my work closing, so I'll do a little bit of editing before I go to work, and then it's just go to work. I am sorry again. I will try to get my podcast out a lot quicker. Hopefully, I can get two of them done this week, so I'm back up to par. Oh, excuse me. Um, and then Friday, I want to say Dark Souls, but in all honesty, I'm probably going to play Agents of Mayhem because I really didn't like how my last stream went. Um, I had fun, obviously, but I really want that game to get a little moment to shine, and I know I didn't give it the attention it deserves, so I'll probably play Agents of Mayhem. We'll see. If not, it'll be Dark Souls or Killzone or The Last of Us. I think I had The Last of Us. I'm trying to peek over there what I have for the PS4, but it'll be a physical copy game for sure. Yeah, and then I'll take us to Monday, which is going to be Apex Legends because 26 requested that one. So I should have brought that up to Pizza, actually. Shoot. But hopefully Pizza could jump in and play some Apex with us because it was fun with him last time as well. For the rest of you guys, though, I'm done. My rant's all completed with. You got my whole weekly schedule. I hope you guys have a beautiful evening. And yeah, wake up tomorrow with a smile on your face. Have a good night, everyone.